Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds. Jonathan, Mike, Joe, and I are here for Survivor 50 on our Survivor 1 through 50 series. We actually made it through 13 weeks of the most recent season of Survivor, the biggest season of Survivor ever. So this is exciting to get to talk to you guys now in full about Survivor 50 in the hands of the fans. What are your guys' thoughts on how this season played out completely?
My hands are tired. Give me a break. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every aspect of it, even the parts that I didn't enjoy. I enjoyed. There was a lot of ups and downs. There was a lot of drama, both on, in the show and outside of the show. But I wanted none less of it. So I think it gave everything that we wanted of it, even though people complained, even though there were some issues. I think that it was season 50. It was exactly what it was meant to be, and I can't be any more excited about the winner. So I'm perfectly satisfied as a fan.
Yeah, I completely agree. There's a lot of things to like. Now, are there issues that we will get to? Yes, absolutely, but we'll get there. Joe?
Yeah, I'm definitely more negative on the season. Like, I think there's definitely some highs to be found here, but it felt like every episode, the highs were also like chained to something else that made me just go, oh, that's not what I want in my Survivor. And I love Aubry. I wish her story was just edited better, especially in that first half of the season. Like, it was hard to really be like, wow, what a great player she is in like the later half when they kind of just dunked on her for a very long period of time. She deserves the win, but like, I just wish that it was told better.
Yeah, like 6 episodes of dunking on Aubry is a lot, and then finally giving her, her winner's edit halfway through the game was very wild for sure. Jonathan?
It's 50. Guys, it's 50. Now, obviously, I'm also kind of a mixed bag on this. There's highs, there's lows, and I think just for the good side of it being like, it's 50. We've been doing this for a year now, covering all these seasons. We've been waiting for this moment to cover this season, and there's definitely plenty to talk about, good and like not so good. But ultimately, I thought it was a pretty entertaining season. I do have my own personal kind of like little like things about it where it's sometimes felt like it was a fitting like a 20-pound something in a 10-pound sack kind of thing of like looking at a season as a whole and being like, there's so much stuff going on that might take away from like these highs that like Joe was talking about kind of thing. But we'll talk about more of that later. But ultimately, it's 50. We all knew that this was going to be a monumental, like good or bad or mid regardless. But I am definitely excited to talk about it here.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about it with you guys too. It's been a long time coming, recaps and everything. And just like, I mean, this season has been fun to cover. There's been issues. I mean, we'll obviously get to the celebrities of it all. And the celebrities kind of worked and kind of didn't in other cases.
I think they mostly didn't. And when they did, it was like I think Survivor got very lucky when they did.
Yeah.
like maybe a coin flip lucky.
Yes.
Yeah. That could have been like,
one of the worst episodes in Survivor history, but we got lucky. We got the right outcome.
Yeah,
that's true. I thought one of the worst episodes is going to be the Zac Brown episode, but all right, well, let's get into it. So the first episode, we got to talk about our epic opening with our cast and everything. I mean, what were your guys' thoughts on this cast as we get into this premiere and this epic opening? Because I got goosebumps. I think this is one of the best openings in Survivor history, probably next to Heroes versus Villains. I just think like it was going to be hard for them to repeat like the scale that like Heroes versus Villains created, for example. So I think they did it, honestly. So
yeah, I mean, this got me super hyped for the season. I will say, like, these first couple episodes I loved so much, and like to see kind of like all the different seasons of Survivor and all these different players, even some people who I didn't think would ever be shown on Survivor, like they would show like Russell Hantz, getting a little bit of screen time there. I was just like, oh my gosh, we're so back. This is awesome. It put me just hypnotized into I want to watch the season as much as possible.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, the intro was super fun. Really engaging, pulled me right in. I felt sad at the end of the first episode because We've got Jenna's eyes opening up
Yes.
in that initial shot, and then she gets voted off like an hour and a half
Close
later.
them.
But
Close.
that was sad for me to watch. But overall, I think the intro did what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to excite us. It was supposed to engage us. Like you said, seeing some of the people that weren't going to be on the season still get some airtime with some of the flashbacks. And then it also kind of like sets us up for flashbacks within the season as well. So I thought that was really, really fun, powerful, exciting.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree. I mean, we'll definitely get to some of like these flashbacks as we go that set the tone for what's going to happen. Jonathan, your thoughts on the opening and the cast?
It was the opening was definitely amazing. Like copy and paste the whole goosebump feeling. Like again, me harking on this for a year, watching these seasons in chronological order, and then getting to this point and seeing everything get like mixed mashed in this ultimate compilation. I was like, I'm a pretty nostalgic person, and so it was like really awesome just to see it all get like thrown together. And then Jenna's eyes opening was amazing. And then like they're on the boat and it's like all stormy. I'm like, this is like they're storming the beaches of Normandy. Like this is like pretty intense right now. And I'm like, but cast, I know like we always kind of like when we were talking about the cast leading up to it, like why is this person here or this person is not here? I felt like when they got on the beach, they were very well aware of like, I'm here and so is not here. Or I think they were all aware of like, just the, I have this very coveted spot that a lot of people could have been out here for, and I'm going to make the most of it kind of thing. And it was a really awesome opening. I think that's like my favorite opening of all Survivor. Personally,
I think it's warranted. I think you're totally right with that.
Yeah, like I said, the two, and then I think Australia versus the world also is really good. Had a really good opening as well for accepting international versions in the opening. So yeah, I just got really hyped. The Jenna moment, as we've all mentioned, and even getting the Matt chat. I love the Matt chat. That was one of the best parts of the opening of Heroes versus Villains, is like them setting down and then getting that Matt chat with Jeff, and getting that this time was really, really nice. And like you get some emotional moments from like Ozzy. Like I wouldn't expect Ozzy to have like that kind of emotion. And as we'll see with Ozzy this whole season, I think we get a more vulnerable side of him. So
I agree too with the Matt chat. Like when everyone, it's seeing all of like the older players kind of get emotional and get like really, that was like, oh my gosh, like seeing like Ozzy and Cirie and Colby and Jenna talking to Jeff and being like, we started this together. You remember this? And he's like, yeah, I do. Like 25 years ago. And I'm like, it was, that was, for me, that's what hit hard, was when you see those bigger characters that are like, this is like defined my life for like over like for 20 years now kind of thing. So it was really cool.
Yeah, so we get this opening challenge, this where everybody is competing. The thing I definitely remember from this opening challenge is like Jonathan and Joe. Like you have these big guys that are just able to pull the boats forward like in 5 seconds. Like I I definitely couldn't do that, so it's just amazing to see like these superhuman feats happen, and we certainly have had other people be able to pull stuff off like that, but it's just very surreal to like see some of that stuff in the challenge, and it gets me more excited as for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think Camilla got stuck in like the thing also, and she was going down a little bit, so that's something else I remembered.
Yeah, and Stephenie digging through, like I remember that. So it's a good opening challenge. Like I have no complaints about this challenge. I mean, would I have loved like another Heroes versus Villains, like grab the sandbag and wrestle each other in the sand? But again, that challenge led to so many injuries back then. So.
Yeah, well, they did a similar thing in Winners at War, which I think could have been good, which is more of a water one, and it's a little, like, I mean, I guess you could drown someone, but you're not like running people and like slamming them into the dirt. So
you could see who showed up in shape, who showed up not in shape, kind of thing. It doesn't matter. It's totally
you could have seen Mike White's ripped body way earlier.
Oh my god,
I think that was my favorite part, is literally like Mike White. Okay.
He's ripped. He's ripped.
Even Charlie was like, what the hell? Well, okay.
That coach's toe rain was pretty hilarious. And then my favorite moment of the premiere is, of course, Rizo and Colby, like having grumpy old man Colby, and then Rizo being the young kid that's the same age that Colby was when he first played. And like basically like Colby's like, I don't want to play with Rizo, and then eventually he's like, this is my son.
That's amazing.
So
Yeah.
I
I
love
did like that with Colby. He basically was like, I remember people were kind of saying, I don't know if I want to really work with him. And then he gets on the beach, and then he's charming his way through camp, and they're like throwing wood around and stuff. And Angelina's like, Colby, go at your own pace. And he looks at her and he goes like, this is my pace. I know. I thought he was gonna like wink, and then she's like, ah ha ha, like laughs at him. I'm like, he's winning everyone over. Like he has not lost a step, but like for the most part, but like
he loses a step later.
He
I'll
does
tell you
lose a
that.
step later, but like in the beginning, in this moment of time, he's rocking it, which is awesome.
I will say, I don't remember, because I know I didn't do season 2 on this, but I know I've talked about Colby at some point in our year-long conversations. And I remember having this conversation with the two of you about Colby kind of just being this like weird dark horse in it. And like, I really didn't think that he would do well. And I just remember being very pessimistic about Colby.
Yeah.
He won me over 10 times in this season. I mean, I cried when he left. I was thankful that he hated Rizo, and then I was mad that he liked Rizo, and then he was like, nope, Rizzo's lazy. I was like, great, we're back on the same page. It was like Colby it encapsulates what Survivor has been for the past 25 years. And like watching him again, I really thought I wasn't going to enjoy it because of his arc and like how he kind of fizzled out. This was not it. Like this was him coming back as if he was in his prime. Okay, he had an injury that may have kind of cost him the rest of the game, but he brought it, and it was so much fun to watch. So Colby, if anything out there is recorded that I said negatively about you, I am back on board. I am a fan. I love you.
Yeah, you could tell he was having fun. Like, and that was like his like mission statement was he didn't like that he basically didn't really enjoy Heroes vs Villains, and he was a grump the whole time, and so he really wanted to enjoy this moment of being out there. And yeah, same. I was very like lower negative to mid on like my excitement level for Colby going into this. And after these first couple episodes, I was like, he's one of my favorite people to see on screen.
He was so good. Even like when he's talking to Steph, right? And he's like talking my right ear because my left ear I can't hear out of anymore.
When he was talking to Genevieve, and that was Genevieve. I was so happy, and it's like I feel like I'm proud of him because of how he like. He's like, I'm just proud that he redeemed like his attitude towards the game. Like the physicality thing, like that can get anybody depending on what your mood is. But like he was like you guys were saying, like he was bringing it from day one, and his attitude was way better. And he's the reason I got into Survivor. Like he's like my origin story. So seeing him from like there to come back and at least redeem his attitudes and feelings towards the game was like really awesome to see. And like people are like, I don't know if he's going to be able to like, figure it out. And then he gets on his starting tribe and he's
running things.
Yeah.
Like, and he goes immediately to Kyle and he's like, Kyle, I think we got a good thing. And that was just that whole alliance that ended up getting formed on Vatu in the beginning was like such a good starting position for him and the likes of everyone else in the tribe.
Yeah, I think if he didn't get injured and this wasn't a twist heavy Mario Party-esque season, I really do think that he could have gone to the end and won the game. Like I genuinely think that would have been something like in his cards.
Agreed. I think Colby played. I think we said it when we had Tina on a recap, and we told her like this was Colby's second best game behind your first time with him in Australia. Like I think despite him going home pre-merge this time, like it felt like this was one of his best games.
It's like mergatory.
It's his worst placement, but yet like his best presentation, I guess, is the best way of putting it, right? And, like he had the potential, it was just not in the cards this time, but loved it.
And I think that you can say that for a lot of players this season as well. Like they were doing like so good, and then just it was because it was so Mario Party twist heavy that like it's like you're doing so good, and then your tribe swapped, and then it's like, well, they're obviously going to vote you out, kind of thing. Like sometimes it seemed like it was just that. That was literally what happened. Like
or you find a Billie Eilish boomerang idol and you don't get to have idols.
Or Jimmy Fallon makes you vote for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. luck plays
Although
a
Jimmy
factor.
Fallon did apologize for that to him directly. So
Yeah,
I'll give him a little
Christian
bit
got to
more,
milk it. He got to go on Jimmy Fallon and do that. So I mean, like honestly, kind of worth.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, luck plays a factor whether we like it or not in any of these games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So, let's talk about Jenna Lewis going first here
Yes.
because she
Can we
way
not? Can
overplayed
we
her.
just talk about it. I don't even want to talk about it. Sorry.
It was,
Continue, Jake. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. No, I mean
I'm gonna
she
try.
she way overplayed her hand with gunning for Cirie. I think Jenna was trying to do what she did in All Stars with getting rid of the winners and Tina first, and it just wasn't going to work here. So
Mhm.
I think I
She
don't
had the
think it
right
was a
read.
misstep at all. I think that the read was good. It's just that Cirie is Cirie, and Cirie's
That's
gonna
true.
Cirie when Cirie hears Cirie's name. So it's just like I think she was barking up the wrong tree, but I think she was also barking up the right tree. Like Cirie was the obvious choice because of her performance in the challenge. She's not going to be very helpful around camp in the early stages of the game. I think it was a smart option. I just don't think like you've got Ozzy there who is like, oh, Cirie. So it just wasn't going to happen. But I think it was the right tree, the wrong moment. Maybe I don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, everyone wants to play with Cirie. Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
'Cause especially if you're, a one-time player, like you want to align yourself with a legend because that's how you stamp yourself as a legend. So everyone's going to see Cirie and it's like, wow, if I can be an alliance that goes into the merge with Cirie, and like we're gonna get the screen time. We're gonna get the content here, and we're gonna make our mark on Survivor history. And you don't want to lose that in episode 1. Also, like if you're out there, the fans are gonna freaking like go crazy as Cirie is the first boot.
yeah,
Also, you also want Cirie to be your move. So
Right.
like if somebody else
Yeah.
is already like throwing her name out there, then it's not your move. So like
right.
Cirie has to be your
Yeah.
move. That's gonna be your moment. And like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Mhm. And even and then you could say this is the start of the whole like Cirie edit this season, where it's like whenever like I'm sure we're all smart enough to have clocked this at going into this like further down the line of the season. It's like whenever like they're talking, who are we voting out? And if Cirie says you're going home, that person is going home this episode, and that's kind of like where this starts. And then it's like, who could it be? And then if Cirie is saying this person's going home, they're going home until whatever. But it was again, yeah, Jenna being the first boot. It's like heartbreaking, but it's also like very poetic and kind of like ironic, if it makes sense. Like the first person on the very first season ends up being like the very first boot
Right.
of 50, and I'm like, but again, super dramatic and
No thanks. Play it back.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I remember preseason when all the cast videos were dropped, and I listened to Jenna's, and I thought, oh man, Jenna might be really interesting to watch. I remember saying that, and then she's out immediately.
She's what made All Stars, besides the Rob Amber thing. She's
Right.
what made All Stars actually exciting. Like she played the game, and so
Right.
I don't know. I think she was a great choice. I think she deserved to be there.
Yeah.
Just too much too soon.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Well, let's talk about. I did want to bring up the Ozzy versus Coach of it all because we also get that Exile Island where we get to rekindle the fires of Ozzy versus Coach from South Pacific, and this was such a great rivalry to reignite. I mean, when they were showing the top 10 episodes, they picked the South Pacific episode because they knew what was going to happen with these two again. And I loved this Exile duo. I loved that they brought Exile Island back in a way, and like to have Coach like Mr. Honor and Integrity claim that he's going to do the honorable thing, and then he's going to screw over Ozzy. Like it's really, really fun.
Immediately does it.
And I felt like some of his edit, though, even though like as even though Coach is kind of still technically doing Coach things this season, it's like I felt like in his interviews he was kind of explaining to the audience like, okay, listen, I know how this looks, but I'm gonna like do this kind of thing, and then he would go ahead and do it. Everyone would be like, Coach is up to his old crackpot schemes kind of thing, and it's just like
I don't think Coach is ever making it through.
Yeah, but you know what? He's going to bring the entertainment. Like that's why
100%.
you have Coach on the season, is that he is going to just give you as much entertainment that he can possibly give you. And I'll be honest, like after seeing this segment, I was like, Coach needs to be on every single season of Survivor. He's so good.
Yeah, I love the Dragon Slayer. As a character, I think he's done so much for Survivor history. Obviously, we will talk much more about him as we continue to go through this, but yeah, I just can't say enough good things about watching Coach this season.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about Kyle's Medevac. So Kyle was playing a really good game for being one of the 3 winners on the season. He was playing the best of all 3 winners, clearly. And I think like it's just unfortunate what happens with his Achilles and in the first immunity challenge, and just like I would have loved to see how far Kyle actually would have made it, because I actually think he makes it a decent ways into the pre-merge, at least, possibly even makes the merge. So
I have a hot take about this. So I think that this is actually going to be good for Kyle in the long term, because having this kind of like short medevac here as like the most fresh thing that you have in your season, I think Kyle's going to come back because they're going to bring him back, and he's going to not be perceived as a huge threat in his next season. And I think he's going to have another deep run. Whereas this season, he was going to hit the merge, and in a similar way to D, at some point, the guns were just going to get kind of locked onto him at some point, and he was going to get taken out. I think in a future season, I don't think that that's going to be the case, and he's going to be able to slip under the radar and potentially get a second win.
Yeah, I have faith in Kyle for sure. Mike, Jonathan, any thoughts on Kyle here?
Well, he's definitely coming back.
Yeah,
I'm like, no, Mike, you can go.
I think Kyle comes back for sure. I think that there's always that, like, you know, looking back at the medevacs in general and seeing like who of those people would be fun to kind of bring back, kind of like the Russell, Jonathan, Scoopin.
Yeah,
Oh,
we don't want him.
Why I didn't say his name, Jake? I was doing it on purpose. Oh yeah, it was him. He too shall not be named. So I think that's easily something that can happen again, and I think Kyle is a great prime candidate to be that person. So I look forward to seeing Kyle again.
Yeah, 100%. Jonathan, you wanted to say more?
Oh yeah, he's definitely coming back. Like again, this is probably going to be like the freshest thing on his resume going forward into whatever season they're going to bring him back for. And yeah, they're he won, but he's washed because he got hurt on 50, and what can he really do? But maybe, I don't know. I can see it like, definitely benefiting him, but it could also probably, people be like, yo, man, he was like really cooking on 50, and then he just got like taken out. People could be like, but we'll see. He is definitely for sure coming back in the future for something. The way that Jeff talked to him, and the way that they gave him the edit, and the way that they treated him on his way out was like, this guy is definitely like coming back for another one. There's no way they're gonna be like, sorry, Kyle, like, see you later. Kind of thing. No, he's coming back.
Right. I mean, it also depends. I mean, he just became a dad as well, so I mean, it'll definitely depend on that. But otherwise, I definitely see him coming back for a third time if he wants it. So at this point.
And to also kind of like wrap with him, like him being able to maintain that alliance in the beginning on VOD 2, like we were all thinking, oh, there's some people that are not going to get along and not work with each other. And obviously, like we see Colby and Stephenie link up immediately, and then Colby go to Kyle and be like, hey, I got Stephenie with me. We can do this. And they just like lock that down like real quick. And Kyle's like, I like Genevieve. And then Genevieve and Kyle being this nucleus of a character to kind of keep that starting alliance together. They could have really done some damage that season if it wasn't so Mario Party twist heavy. Kind of thing. That can be a good what if.
That would be a good what if for sure. All right, so Kyle's gonna go. We are gonna get one more pre-swap episode, which is where Savannah is going to go home as the second winner to leave the game. I mean, Savannah was just screwed immediately. She just won. Like, people knew she had won, even though like they hadn't seen her season. And so, I mean, Savannah obviously misplays the whole thing with Colby of like, and then when she comes back and like doesn't tell the truth about what she got. To everybody. But I feel like with Savannah, it's just like I don't think she had a chance regardless.
Yeah, even if she like spilled the beans, and even like her and Rizzo's strategy going into the season was just to be like honest, which I mean is definitely not a bad strategy. It's like lie at this point, like lying or telling the truth almost has like no like I feel like no one's gonna believe you. Anyways, well, her saying that she won is one thing, but like her coming back and telling like not telling. Tell to not tell, that is the question. I feel like no matter what you do, people are just going to be like, I don't know if they're telling the truth. But she was also being kind of a, like her threat level and Rizzo's threat level. And I feel like they didn't show some. I feel like they didn't show something. I feel like they should have showed something a little bit more like what was the key thing that got her voted out. Yeah. They were talking about it, but I felt like we missed a key ingredient on what the nail in the coffin was.
Yeah, she got overshadowed by all the other stuff happening in this episode, which we will get to after this. I'm sure we will get to the big moments, but
it was the Jotation.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The Jotations were already started, and so Joe was good, and then you had Ozzy and Cirie, and then you had Christian, Devens, and Emily. Like nobody was going to be turning on any of that group. So I think Savannah was just finding herself on the outs. I think that's literally all it was.
Yeah, I agree.
And she's a winner.
Yeah.
Also, Sophie B pretty much told D everything that happened on their season before, and that's pretty much like how they knew that they had to be honest. Is that apparently Sophie B and D are just like friends because they're in Florida together and they just kind of knew each other, so they linked up. Because like what I heard afterwards is that Savannah, like right after 49, basically got a call from Sophie B. Was like, you gotta tell them they know you. They know what happened with you. And so clearly you can kind of like piece together like, okay, well, that's probably where it is. So Sophie B, she loves creating preseason drama. That's what she does.
This season was definitely riddled with like just tons of pregame stuff and that like bled into this game. I think more than any other season.
It had so much time.
So much time for that, and so much just like they were talking about stuff in the show that like was like outside of the show, and like that being carried in here, like more so than other returning player seasons. And then I felt like that was, while it's still Mario Party, it's Super Smash Brothers at this point. Kind of thing. So it's just like there's so much going on, like in game and not in game, that could get you voted out. Right.
Well, and I think that's that's not the fear. That's the danger of having a returning season is everybody's built relationships. I mean, and now so more than ever. I mean, since the pandemic, I mean, Bryce and Wen have created their whole, where people are coming in and meeting each other for the first time and then creating these relationships. You've got the events down in Florida that are happening every year. You've got RHAP doing their events. And so all of that stuff has kind of blown up in the last 5 to 6 years. And so all of these people are starting to actually interact with each other on a more regular basis. And so this was bound to happen this season. And so I'm not angry about it. I know there are other people in the world that are angry about it, but I think pregame alliances are just part of the game in a season like this. And there was nothing we were gonna, that was gonna, be. You can't prevent that. So I think we got what we got, and it is what it is. And if people needed to pregame in order to get far into the game, I guess that's on them. And it all came out in the end anyway. So
true.
Yeah, you only really play Survivor once, and then afterwards you're playing a different game that is in the same vein as Survivor. You're playing. It's friend viber ends up happening quite often in these returning player seasons.
Yeah, whether you like it or not. But some other stuff that obviously happens in this episode. We have to touch on Christian shitting his pants. So,
highlight right there. That was cinema, absolute cinema.
Hashtag cinema. Poor Christian. That's the first time they've ever actually shown somebody shitting their pants and walking away and being like, "You don't want to see this."
I needed that to be his winner's edit. I needed it to be his winner's edit because you don't put something like that in a game where then the last thing that happens to him is what happens to him.
Right.
Yeah.
Like what a horrible way to start and end an edit. Like I feel for Christian. I think that Christian has probably the best attitude about it, like from what I've seen in interviews and whatnot.
Yeah.
So like great on Christian. Like he knew what he was signing up for, fine. But like to start your edit off with shitting your pants and then end it with shitting your pants in the game, like it is what it is. But like what a terrible capstone for his story, because everything in between was phenomenal. So
Yeah.
I don't know, like I find it icky. I didn't like the scene, but that's just me.
Yeah, I totally get that, because it was just a weird thing to show. I really didn't expect that. And I think they also, it's been reported that they do give them like a change of clothes, sometimes like the same clothes, because I'm pretty sure they give Christian like an extra pair of khakis after that.
Yeah, they must have. There's no way we're like,
you're not. Yeah, I mean, like that's actually like health wise, that would be terrible to have just shit stains throughout the rest of the game.
Oh boy.
Oh god. And then of course the some other stuff. So we also get the fun callback moment when Colby hits his head on like the beam in the blindfold challenge. They play the didgeridoo, which is a really fun callback. And then which I thought Colby definitely just like broke his skull or something.
Don't remind me, man. Everyone's getting so banged up and stuff, and I'm like,
yeah, poor Colby. And then, of course, the other big moment is Christian and Rick Devens planning the fake idol at Tribal Council, which is such a fun moment. I even just love that when Rick Devens plants it right, and then Christian just like pretends to fall down. Like it's just so fun.
This is top 5 moments of the season without a doubt, bar none. It is so good. Like this is why Rick Devens is also someone who needs to be on every season of Survivor, because he is there not just to play the game, but to make it as entertaining and as big of a spectacle as possible. And you need people like that. People in the new era, I think like 80-90% of the cast are not looking to be entertaining TV. They just want to fly by and get to the end and fly under the radar. Not Rick Devens. Rick Devens is there to give us the best television show possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a huge Rick Devens fan as well, and I know my dad is a huge Rick Devens fan. Like he loved watching Rick Devens in both of his seasons. So
I think everyone loves him a lot more now too. I think I totally agree with the whole sentiment of like, if anybody like from this season that was on like pre-40 that would come back, it would probably be Rick. Because he's got a lot going for him, entertainment wise, for another season. So he could be just like, you know, bring the cool man back, man. Bring him back.
And he was supposedly an alternate for this season. Like, how is he not like 100% in the cast already?
I mean,
I don't know. I don't know if that was a joke. I truly believe that they just like pranked Rick Devens because he's like kind of super in production's graces, because they said he was an alternate and then a week later put him on the cast.
Yeah. They trolled him a little bit.
I don't see an alternate, like that word doesn't exist in Rick Devens' world in Survivor. Like, if you're putting him as an alternate, I don't know who's on the cast. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, 100%.
He better be at least a 4-time player. Like, you got to bring him back at least 2 more times.
Yeah, the next returning player season, he's got to be on that one.
I think we need another Game Changers theme.
Game Changers too?
With actual Game Changers,
Well, I mean, like, whatever.
They're going to put
Devens and coaches back on it, I guess.
Yeah. Anything else from the first 2 episodes? Are we ready to hit one of the greatest moments in Survivor history, which is Jeff Probst rapping?
Oh God.
It was such a wild moment because like I did not expect them to have Jeff Probst rapping, but then I'm like, it's the new era. Of course, Jeff is gonna do some weird things.
Of course,
he was like launching a musical career this season for some reason. Because before this, he also had released a song on Spotify about Survivor 50.
I think they're lining up for Jeff to play in 51 because. Not only is he rapping, not only is he competing in challenges, but now he's fucking up the lives. I mean, come on, like put him in the cast. Like let's try it out. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh,
what were you gonna say, John?
I was gonna say also the stuff of us figuring out like the fan votes too.
Yes,
Like once
yeah.
we finally hit like, oh, you guys will have no rice, and everyone's like, yay! And it's like you have to earn your supplies, and we as fans were like, yay! But I thought it was really funny seeing how like the reactions to the cast, where it's like the old school players were like, I don't give a shit, dude. Like I've done this before, and a lot of the new era players were like, what? No rice? And I'm like,
Yeah.
You gotta work for that shit.
Before we end our rap segment, I did want to also we forgot to bring up the Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol, because that also comes into play here. We should bring that up. That Genevieve gets this and she has to hand it off to someone, which is just funny because Billie Eilish has had no clue or hasn't cared that she's being used for Survivor.
No, not at all. Someone has got to have told her at this point. Like someone has got to have told her.
She is the scapegoat of one of the worst twists in the history of Survivor. And like, I think she just doesn't care. Like she got her publicity.
Yeah.
She was able to do her advertisement mid-season and like release her album. That's what it was all about for her.
That was it right there.
I don't blame her for that. But don't put your name on a Boomerang Idol. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, she went on Amy Poehler's podcast too, and basically shit talked the whole thing.
Really?
Yeah. No, she was just like, it was this. They made a Billie Eilish idol, and she just kind of like laughed and was like, I don't know what this is, and then asked about if she could play Survivor. She was like, I don't think I could do the math.
Oh my god.
What? Oh my gosh, man.
Yeah. It wasn't a good look.
No, and then
this is just not a good look all around.
No,
well, and especially her being the first one that was revealed as like this, like a super fan, as the celebrity fan.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, this is a celebrity fan? Like, I'm confused.
Really?
And it kind of just ruined one of the most exciting parts of Survivor, which are idols, because let's be honest, everyone, idols this season were a bust. They were not good.
Yeah. No. The poor Genevieve got 2 idols, couldn't play either of them, and she
needed it.
Yeah, she needed it, and basically her rival Aubry gets to take her out as a result. That was just a wild rivalry as well, because it was like it just felt like they were also just crapping on Aubry in the edit with that. So
like
I think they were actually. I looked at the reverse. I thought they were making Genevieve look silly because like Genevieve is constantly in almost every episode going around and literally like complaining about Aubry the entire her entire scene. So it's like, I don't know. I think it kind of made Genevieve look a little silly because we all know Genevieve to be a strategist. That wasn't strategy. That was just her going around basicly shitting on Aubry like the entire edit. So I don't know.
I also want to bring up real quick, going back to like the Aubry thing. How they presented it to us. I think a lot of people were like, oh, Aubry's just shutting down Genevieve. That's so bad strategy. But if you really look at it, it starts with Genevieve being like, you're a dangerous player. And like she says that to Aubry, to her face. And Aubry wants not to have that perception because she's hoping to have lowered her threat level. So she has now just been told by a dangerous player that she is being viewed as a dangerous player. That is not what Aubry wants in this game. But obviously a lot of fans love Genevieve, especially modern fans. So everyone quickly hopped on the Genevieve, you're right. We're going to disregard how the conversation started and focus on Aubry shutting it down.
That's true. I mean, I give Aubry credit. Like, if someone approaches me and tells me that I'm too big of a threat, then I'm immediately not going to be happy with that. So, all right. Well, with that, before we move on, we need to play something that Joe created for us. So we have our own Tribe of Nerds rap for Survivor 50. So
you put on the shades.
Yes, I did. All right.
What is that?
Yo, torch lit, buffs up, cameras roll. 50 seasons deep and we still lose control. Jake on the mic with the wild hot take. Shane yelling, but what if? After every move Jake makes, Mike Turner slid through, runner-up king. Talking fire, making spoilers and everything. Jeff Probst grinning, the monster is fed. Meanwhile, half the cast already dead. We got idols and socks, advantages hidden. Fans in the comments straight up forbidden to spoil the boot list. Chill with the leaks. We just here for blindsides every single week. Austin cooking matters like Genevieve's plan. Mike Michael roasting Kevin every chance that he can. Kevin still hating on John Locke instead, acting like the smoke monster lives rent free in his head. RizGod got the social game max. One fake smile and your alliance collapse. Trust me, bro. Famous last words. Next thing you know, your torch gets snuffed with no words. TribeOfNerds stay bringing the heat. Recap so good, make Ponderosa compete. From heroes versus villains to the new era vibe. If you love Survivor, then welcome to the tribe. Ain't shot in the dark, but we still take aim. Everybody wanna win $1 million fame. Immunity necklace shining under island moonlight. Then Jeff hit you with the got nothing for you all night. Podcast rolling like a reward challenge feast. Nerds in control from the west to the east. So hit subscribe and join the Survivor ride. TribeOfNerds podcast got the fandom unified.
All right, that was absolute cinema. So yeah, that's also getting people to subscribe. So you should subscribe now.
Yeah, better than Jeff's rap.
Will they get more? Will they get more raps like that if they subscribe?
Yes, yes. I think we can get. I was almost going to come on here and make the wrap up on the spot, but then I'm like, that's probably not going to be good. So, all right. Well, moving on. So we get the swap, 2-3 new tribes, and we are unfortunately, I'm sure Joe is crying already because we're about to lose the Q skirt. And I will say with Q, I enjoyed him a lot more in 3 episodes this season than I did in the entirety of 46. So.
It seems like there were a lot of people that were like kind of aware of their perception from like their other seasons going into this, and were really trying to like rectify that as much as possible, especially Q. Like I love hearing people like I hate Q, and then Q's like just the opposite of that this season. It's like he's definitely lovable in this, and then it's like, you know, then what happens to Q happens to Q. We didn't get full Q skirt though.
Yeah,
Well,
Q will be back 100%.
Yes.
I will let everyone know he is absolutely. He got a lot of content for someone who goes out here in episode 3, and he's another person similar to how I was talking about Rick Devens. He is there to give great entertainment, great sound bites, great confessionals. And yeah, I mean, if you even look back though on Survivor 46 pre-merge, like he's in the center control of that tribe. Had that tribe even gone again and been sent down to 2, he still survives it. Like it's going to be Kenzie probably, honestly, that who would go next. So he gets a lot of shit because of, you know, he basically like has a whole tribe where he tries to quit and all that stuff, but he actually can be a very good player and work with his alliance to get far in the game.
Yeah, I completely agree. Jonathan, Mike, your thoughts on Q?
Oh, he was just like way better. He was just way better this season. Again, he will absolutely be back 100%.
Yeah.
Whether it's like fans versus favorites 3 or like blood versus water 3 or whatever it is they're gonna do 3 kind of thing. But yeah, again, I also felt like he was another player that was in like a good position and then just got like screwed because of a twist.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah. And it's just like there's just so much going on, and I'm like, let the players like be players. Right. And it's like stop like shoehorning. This is like one of those highs that you're talking about, Joe, where you're going, but there's some ball and chain with it that like drags it back down for me. But like I as a player, Q's just a lot better. A lot of these people were way better. It was just something was pulling them back from like reaching that top position or just being or shining completely.
Yeah. Mike, looks like you want to say something on Q.
What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about. Has my faith been betraying me? I am good with 3 episodes of Q. Thank you so much. Goodbye. I don't know. I don't agree that he was better. I think he was worse. I found him so grating. The first episode he steps up, and we've got this whole Coach Ozzy Showdown thing, and then Q's like, I'm amazing too, I want to go. And it's just like, oh, Q, you, why? I'll never be a fan. It is what it is. I was good with 3 episodes. Thanks, Q. It was
I think he's the new era coach. Like that's what I would call him. He is a new era coach. Like he's very.
You know he's bad when I'm like I'd prefer Coach. Like I'd rather Coach than that. I don't need him.
Well, yeah. Cancel Christmas because Q is gone. All right, episode 4. So this is also where we have the David versus Goliath 3 that end up on the same tribe, and this is obviously going to be a big moment. We also haven't brought up Emily Flippen, financial analyst Emily Flippen. This is where she really shines because she starts just being sloppy and messy the entire time and somehow getting away with it.
I love Emily Flippen. Like, she's one of my favorites, to be honest. I love chaos. Everyone knows this. I'm the chaos gremlin.
Yes.
And if you can bring some chaos to a season, like, I'm all here for it. We need chaotic players to just be like, oh, people are looking at making a plan. Well, what if I go ahead and start telling people about the plan?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of chaos gremlins.
I am also not a fan of Chaos Gremlins. However, Flippin' be flippin', and I enjoyed every flip flop that she did. And I think it starts off here. And just the moment where she comes back to Christian and she's like, oh, I think I made a mistake. And just this whole moment of just like, oh God. And like, we're all cringing while watching this because we've been watching the whole thing happen. And then she realizes, I don't think I should have done that. And it's like, no, you should not have. So it was actually super fun narratively to watch. I think that if I was playing with that, I would be absolutely bonkers.
To be fair, from her perspective, she gets told about the Aubry idol on the mat right there.
Yes.
Like, truthfully, if I was being told by an ally, like, in that moment, I go, oh, I'm like not really with them, but they're just scared that something might happen and they want me to maybe know later on. So I kind of get why she would then use that as ammunition to get herself into a better spot with other people. But yeah, I mean, how these idols work just in general, everyone's going to know about the idols. Like, it's just, if you're giving someone an idol, like, a lot of times you're just gonna, like, other people are just gonna find out because you're gonna tell them, and bam, everyone in the island's going to know. So it was doomed for everyone to find out about them anyways.
Yeah, exactly. My favorite moment is, of course, now Christian is going to want to take out Mike White for his own personal reasons of taking out the David versus Goliath people that took him out, of course, even though they are friends. And my favorite moment is of course, Christian doing the zip the lip to Emily. Oh God. And then that, like, that's just so, Christian was absolutely trying to get screen time.
Yeah, I mean, he ends with, by the way, the most confessionals on the season. So I mean, he got the screen time. And honestly, I love it. He's also one of my like top 5 favorite players to Survivor. So I was happy for it. But give me more Christian. He's another person. I love seeing it. Him and Devens and Emily, like that is honestly like my favorite alliance in Survivor now.
Yeah. That would have been a wild final 3.
Yeah. It would have been so fun.
I don't know who to win that, to be honest. Probably Devens, but
Devens, if he's but Christian's so likable. That's the thing, is that Christian and Devens are both considered, if you make it to the end with either of them, you lose the game.
Right.
So Emily would have probably been a 0 vote finalist, and then those two would have been duking out for every other jury vote.
Especially if Christian pulls out his original strategy, which was to reveal the birth of his son.
Yes.
On tribal, and then everyone's like, oh no. And then Rick's like, I have a kid too.
That you all knew about.
Who's here with me right now?
Yeah, their dynamic was just so fun. But we are gonna lose our shredded Mike White here.
The White Lotus himself.
Yeah. I mean, at least he got some people from the season to be on the White Lotus with Charlie and Camilla. So I mean, he got something.
I think that was always going to be the case. Everyone wants to be friends with Mike White, which is why Charlie and Camilla, I mean, they were on the starting tribe with him. So they gotta schmooze with Mike White a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it was surprising to just see Mike White go this soon, because like he was in a good position until this moment, and like gets backstabbed by a friend. So
it's tough though when you're 3 David versus Goliath members and you end up on the same tribe, because you could just ride it out with them, but you're just going to then get screwed at the merge, because you're going to be like viewed as like, oh, they're an unbreakable thread, they're never going to vote against each other, so you kind of have to go against each other. And Mike White, I mean, he already has a bunch of money. He doesn't need another how much $2 million. Yeah, he doesn't need that. So
right, yeah, 100%. Well, Mike White goes, and now we are going to get the first double boot episode, and we are going to talk about the bad blood between Charlie and Rizzo, which I was so excited to see my two nerdy boys work together on the same tribe, and then no, they're just going to go against each other instead. And this is, of course, where Rizzo gets the other Boomerang idol, and we are going to get basically the Taylor Swift references abound, and unfortunately, Rizzo is going to get the best of Charlie here. Obviously, I think this is the Iran move for Camilla and D, because it tanks both their games to blindside Jonathan on this vote. And get rid of Charlie. Like, I think this was just a very bad move. But what are your guys' takes on this round?
I think in hindsight, yes, it was a bad move. I think that in the moment, I think that it actually made sense given what they don't know. And I think that's where, Camilla misinterprets, I think, the way the game is about to be played by the people that's in that tribe.
Right.
I don't know. I think it was a smart move, because Rizzo is, and this is hard for me to say because I'm not a fan, but Rizzo is very good at schmoozing and very good at getting people to trust him and want to work with him. And I think that's just what this was. And I think it was honestly a highlight for Rizzo. And was it Camilla's worst move in the game? I think it is, only because of what we know. But I think that in the moment, I think it made a lot of sense, and it gave her an opportunity to make a move and be, do something in the game before she gets voted off anyway. So I don't think it's a bad move for her. I just think it doesn't work out for her.
Yeah. There's like no payoff to it, basically, because it doesn't last long. Again, like, we're in the season of Mario Party. So it's just kind of like your decisions that you make are kind of like very short term. Like, this is a very short term decisions. And then you kind of have to like ride the wave of the gauntlet of like switching tribes and maybe getting an idol or getting an advantage or getting something, and then like not getting screwed by said thing kind of thing, or like making a move like this and hoping it doesn't backfire you the next round. Whereas in another season, maybe you have some space to rectify that. But this is like you'd make this decision, next round it's immediately turned upside down because of a tribe swap or something like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Rizzo also, I mean, he has one pre-game connection, and that is to D. And guess what? That comes very much into play here. That's how he kind of gets in right with the right people here to make this move happen against Charlie. I mean, kudos to Rizzo, because obviously everyone thinks he has no real connection, but he did. There was a pre-game thing that he kind of had there that no one else knew about.
Something that he was able to establish with his 9 days off.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, it's really fascinating, because this is also, we're getting the 3 On Fire podcast with Jeff Probst. We're getting the 3 co-hosts together, and then they're not all on the same page clearly. So I find that wild with Devens, Charlie, and D. So I find that interesting. But I was happy to see RizGod survive, but it is sad because I'm also a Charlie fan. So
Well, I know that Rizzo replaced Andy from 47 on this cast. And in preseason, I actually said that Rizzo probably should have replaced Charlie instead of Andy, just because I think they were kind of similar archetypes in terms of kind of like the smart, nerdy white guy who is really considered like a good player on their seasons, like in terms of getting far and has win equity on both those seasons. And Andy is, I think, a different kind of player. I think he's a kind of chaotic, kind of, you know, emotionally unstable at certain points kind of player. Smart, but like I think that's if they were looking for more archetypes, I actually do think that, you know, Charlie is more of the switch of Rizo here.
I can agree with that. I can see that. Clearly the Swifty bus was they left Rizo because of that. So
Yeah.
they were very upset. We also before we get to the Zac Brown of it all, because we need to talk about that, but we get Angelina going in this same episode. She got very little in this episode, of course, until she gets booted and she does do the payoff to the jacket situation where she gives Christian her jacket. So yeah. Any thoughts on Angelina?
Where was she? She like basically didn't exist.
Yeah.
You got one of the greatest television characters of Survivor, and you barely used her.
I don't
Come on.
get that. Yeah, I was shocked because she's one of the best women in terms of characters for sure. Like, and I don't know. I guess like she didn't have enough 100-foot ladders or like whatever to.
Yeah,
she apparently was doing a lot of things out there for TV. Like she had a negotiation on day one with Jeff Probst, and they cut that out. Like they cut that out. Like give us the Angelina edit right now.
Yeah, she was being active. She was doing stuff. It's just like there's just so much stuff going on that like they can only. And there's 24 people, 26 days. Again, 20 pounds something in a 10-pound sack. It's like this whole thing doesn't fit with what is going on this season. And it's just like some people are going to get wonky edits and some people are going to get no edits. Some people are going to get amazing edits that don't pay off. And it's almost like a shit pants sandwich kind of thing. You're not going to have like an ultimate goal here. But I'm just
you stole my line, Jonathan. I was gonna say if we get Angelina's negotiation, then we don't get Christian shitting his pants. I mean, we got to have a payoff somewhere, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just weird, but I'm glad she got that last moment,
like
to hand her jacket to Christian. Like I think we needed that send off for her to know, like this is why she was here.
To give this jacket.
Yes.
That you are here to give this jacket.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. Well, let's get to the Zac Brown of it all, our second celebrity on the season. He got more confessionals in 4 episodes than Tiffany had in 4 episodes. So, which I think is ridiculous. I think they spent way too much time on Zac Brown. I can appreciate Zac Brown. I do I can't lie. Chicken Fried is a little bit of a bop. But I just don't think we needed to see that much of Zac Brown.
No.
I'll give him a little credit. He was more engaged than Billie Eilish.
100%. 100%.
Fish spearing. I mean, I don't know. I think it was kind of cute at the time. It wasn't until afterwards that I realized that he had more confessionals than some of the players in the game. That was a little bit disconcerting, but I don't know. I thought it kind of like, it gave a little bit of like a reason for him to be there, but like I do think it just went on too long. But I think it was cute. I think it was adorable. It was kind of nice to see someone who wouldn't normally be in that situation kind of put himself there because he's a fan. So I thought that was kind of cool. Other than that, I could have done without it.
But my biggest gripe is this is the start of Colby's foot problem. And this thing where he gets hurt in the challenge before Zac Brown shows up, and then it's like he messed something in his foot, and they're like, okay, you can technically keep going, but it's gonna hurt like hell. And he's like, okay. And then as they're walking, apparently this is what he said in his interview, as they were walking towards the reward with Zac Brown, like on like a production trail, apparently someone might have dropped something and he stepped on it, which caused it to get infected. And then because of that, I'm very anti chicken fry. I'm very anti, like, you took out my Colby and I'll never forgive you. This is the start of the cold-blooded situation. But again, it's a crazy game. And he's like, he's bringing in all these big fish with a huge like rail gun of a weapon. And I'm like, I want you to do that with Ozzy's sling. All right, I want you to go like harpoon a kraken and bring it back. And I want to see that.
My issue with Zac Brown getting 4 confessionals is that in Modern Survivor, the winner always has a confessional in every episode. And in this episode, they skunk Cirie, Devens, Jonathan, and so I'm forgetting who the other ones, but
Probably Tiff, right?
Probably
Tiff,
Tiff.
yeah.
And at least like with Cirie, Jonathan, and Devens, this is the only skunked episode. If they each got one confessional, I would have felt more likely they could win throughout the season. But the fact they got skunked here made me instantly be like, wow, okay, I guess those three are out. And those would have been three important people to have as potential winners as the season progressed because of how far they also make. And the fact that this is the only skunked episode is kind of like, okay, well, unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, teardrops on my guitar for everything that happened.
Get out of here.
Well, I think we get to the blood moon next, right? So this is the infamous blood moon twist. And what are your guys' thoughts on this triple elimination?
Terrible.
Funeral. It was so. I watched this live at a watch party downtown, and it was extremely sad. Like it was I mean, epic, but extremely sad. Like
It felt like to me like the wind of the sails got kind of sucked out of the season for a little while. Like it's the fact is they all merge, but the fact that they only have like 2 hours to essentially talk to each other, and then suddenly they're randomly divided into tribes of 5, which 5 is a pretty like unfun tribal council number because it's just like people just go, oh, I guess it's you, and the fact that it's just super random like that, it just wasn't good. Like I would have way preferred if they just said, oh, you 3 tribes, you're all going to tribal council and someone's going out, and then that's how they get rid of 3 instead of doing this blood moon. You can still call that the blood moon, just like don't suddenly say random Mario Party, and
you knew it like when they were getting ready to do the challenge and they broke them up. It's like, oh my god, like we absolutely know who is going. There's a 99% chance that this person is most likely going home, and they're all going. So it's like it was wind out of sail is a good remark, and it was definitely heartbreaking to see Colby go. It sucked to see Genevieve get become labeled like the unluckiest player ever, and then to see Camilla now reaping that one decision that she made 2 tribals ago is now coming back to bite her in a different regard.
This was one of the most painful. Was it 2 hours? I think it was 2 hours. Wasn't it?
2 hours.
It was just a painful 2 hours because within 45 minutes, you kind of know the writing is on the wall for the 3 people that go home. And so it's just painfully watching the last hour play out of what actually is going to happen. And then it happens anyway. It was a painful 2 hours. I will say I cried. I will admit it right here and right now. Because of Colby and I couldn't believe it when it was happening. I'm texting my friends. I'm like, is Colby making me cry right now? It was a miserable episode to watch. Colby's exit was the saddest I think I've never cried for Survivor. I've never ever cried. I was crying. I've cried a lot in this season. I'll admit that too. But that was the first one. Camilla, I think, reaped what she sowed, but I don't think it needed to happen that way. I think it was super twist heavy and very frustrating to watch. And then of course Genevieve having found 2 idols and couldn't do a fucking damn thing about it to save herself in this, which was the one time she was ever in trouble. So it just was frustrating to watch. Just a frustrating 2 hours.
I was definitely heartbroken with Colby as well, because Australia was one of the first few seasons I did watch as well, and have rewatched, and I think I think just Colby talking about how much this game meant to him again, it was just thankfully we got him back one more time. And this was his last time instead of heroes versus villains, because I think it ended his legacy on such a high note. So
I remember that too, when he was in the tribal and he's talking about his experience, and he's getting a little bit emotional about it, and Cirie and Coach are there also, and so they're and Cirie's got her hand on his leg kind of thing, and I'm like, this is there's just so much history with because they bring it up in the tribal, with when you're voting out an old school player, there's just so much history with those types of players and contestants that have been in the game, that it's just Yeah, it hit hard. It hit hard. I think everybody was crying in the bar. Everyone was like, "No!" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my gosh!" It's like blood moon. I can't believe it.
Yeah, it was just sad. So and me having met Camilla at this point, you know, I was sad to lose Camilla, even though yeah, she did reap what she sowed.
Yeah. But also pre-game alliance, I'm just saying Zoom alliance there of Jonathan, Stephenie, and Chrissy. I mean, like they were gonna always work together. So it's like yet again, Camilla kind of just got put into a situation where she instantly got screwed because she drew a wrong rock.
Right.
Also with Genevieve, I know like after this experience, she's been pretty vocal about like not wanting to play again and whatnot. And then I think she said like the only way she would come back, because we've been talking about people that could come back this season, is like she's like the only way that she would come back is if they did like a blood versus water
with her husband.
Her husband really wants to play, and I think because of that, like that could probably be in the works for her future down the line.
I think she's going to come back regardless. I think she's going to say that, and then she's going to get a call for a season, and then she's going to be like, you know what? I'll do it anyways. I think
I'll do it for you, Jeff. I'll do it for you, Billy.
Yeah, I do think she'll play because the thing is, like, she clearly had game this season. It's just she got literally screwed in every single possible way. Like her close ally Kyle going out right away. Oh, this is the one season where you don't actually get your idols. Okay. Oh, now you just randomly took a rock onto the person that you literally have a rivalry against who has an idol, and you're pretty much the only real target because the other three are gonna just work together in this vote. So yeah, I think she will come back. I doubt this is the last time we see Genevieve on her screen.
Yeah. I think sometimes when some of us say we're done, either it means that or somehow we get roped back in. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
Where's this rope? Yeah.
All right. So the blood moon happens and we officially actually get our 14-person merge now, and we are going to lose. We are going to get our mayor of Ponderosa. We are going to lose our final winner, D. Valladares, and D is also someone that I met in person actually 2 weeks before she won Survivor 45. So, which is really, really funny. I won't go into detail about why she was there, but yeah. I you know, D going out here as the final winner, obviously she screws up with Rizo and like exposing so much information with Emily and Rizo. Like this was a really bad move by her. But you know, I think people were absolutely gunning for D regardless because they wanted to get the final winner out of the game.
Yeah, it seemed like she was screwed early on too, and kind of just managed to kind of skate by a little bit until literally was impossible to skate by.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on D here?
Kind of crazy the fact that Jonathan was able to kind of like, you know, make that move and kind of get her kind of riled up a little bit in front of everybody and make her lose her cool a little bit. I felt like just I think people knew that she was gonna be a big threat and she made it that far in the game. And I think there was just enough people to eventually be like on board with you know, finally getting her out kind of thing, especially with the old school players too, because I felt like it was really easy to like, you know, ruffle their feathers a little bit because you can kind of tell, you know, new era, old school players, like they're kind of, you know, thick as thieves in certain departments. And so seeing how like Jonathan kind of being able to, he's a new era player, but he fits better with the old school and kind of, sometimes it just takes one player to fit in a different mold to get another player out kind of thing. And I felt like that was the case with D. I also feel like she didn't really, she really obviously really bonded with Camilla and Tiffany. And I don't remember seeing, and then she bonded with Rizo and Charlie for a little bit, right? But there were like her and some other players that didn't seem to go outside of their alliances, or they just didn't like blend or like, you know, fit well with other combinations of people. So I guess sometimes it's just, that's the luck of the draw. Sometimes it's just who gels with who.
I was just surprised that D was the one that lasted the longest of the three winners. I think with Savannah going out early and Kyle obviously having his inner injury, that's kind of why it happened.
Right.
But I think if I were to look at the three of them like early on and say like which one do I think gets the furthest, I don't think it's D. So like I think it's really great that she was able to get to the merge and get to the jury. So I think she can be proud of that. Like having that kind of target on your back, I think is super hard in a season like this.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like we've seen so many winners come back and then not even make the merge. So like, you know, Tina and Hatch and stuff. So like, you know, I think she should hang her hat on that. Absolutely. Yeah. So let's move on to the next round. This is also the week that I went to Boston for the Survivor watch party with Shane. And that was such an exciting time. Got to meet our winner, Aubry Rocco, at the watch party, which was super exciting. And just like, it was such a fun energy at this watch party. You know, we had, you know, people were rooting obviously for Aubry in the episode. This is where her and Devens are going to come close to winning immunity. Unfortunately, they fall short to Tiffany and Joe, but it was an exciting moment there. And yeah, just like obviously when Coach gets voted out, we'll talk about the twist here in a second, but when Coach got voted out and he went up to play his shot in the dark, everybody was chanting not safe, because everybody just wanted Coach to go. But like Gail Kane on
oh my god. People kept telling her, and clearly she wasn't listening. Like,
God, Gail Kane, boy, that's a meme in itself from 50. So
yeah.
But let's talk about this twist. The Tide Destinies twist, it actually first debuted in Survivor South Africa. So if you guys end up going to the international Survivor realm of things, this is where that twist came about. And I like this twist of like you're tied together with someone for that round, and if they go out, you go out. I think it's an interesting wrinkle in things. And I mean, does it kind of screw over Chrissy, but I don't think she was super long for the game anyway, based on how things were going. So I do think it just kind of sped up the process a little bit. So
my issue with this twist is I really wish that before they let them know about that you'd go out with your partner like that. Like, I wish they would tell them. So that way in the coupling process, they know that, because it would have created so much more drama of like who you don't want to be pairing with. Because that means you're going to see Coach, but no one's going to want to go with Coach. And that's going to be great television. That's going to be instantly great TV. It also, just in terms of gameplay wise, like you can see in Chrissy's eyes, the second that is announced, she knows she's screwed. Like she like punches over. She's just like defeated, because like, yeah, Coach is going to be one of the biggest threats, and that's one for her allies. There's going to be clearly people going to be gunning for them at that situation. So I think it would have been more interesting had they have paired up, because also you would have been going to other alliances and trying to get in there, and now suddenly multiple alliances are going to have to be turning on people, and it would have been a lot more interesting and more fair.
Yeah, I totally agree, Joe. I did kind of like the twist just because of the mechanics of it, but again, to your point, Joe, like if they use it in like a future season, now that people have like watched this, and if this comes back again in a future season, and they're like getting pairs of 2, and everyone's gonna be like, I don't want to go with this person, because that's probably where it'll come alive in a future season, is when people are like, I don't want to get attached to so-and-so because of whatever.
Yeah.
I do think that's an interesting take, because they've done this in the new era a couple of times where they've had to pair off and compete in challenges. And so I'd be interested to know if people will connect it back to 50 or connect it back to the era, right? Like, so like if I'm being told that this is the twist, I'm going to assume if it's a regular season that it's probably just going to be based on the challenge. But I agree with you. I think it would be interesting to kind of see how they play it, to Joe's point, like how they play it, knowing right from the start that is the twist, that like you're going to go home with your partner if you don't win immunity. Like that would change the dynamic of like how they pick their partners.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think remembering back to the South Africa season, I think they told them that they like about like all the mechanics of the twist in that season. So I definitely agree that they should tell them here. But yeah, I don't know. We should also mention obviously Coach's moments, his boot episode, because Coach has fantastic boot episodes generally. Tokens, and then here we obviously get him doing the haikus, being super excited about haikus, and then Jonathan is like making fun of him. Like, I think that's hilarious. And then like obviously him sinning on the way to tribal, doing his like meditation that makes it into like the intro title sequence. Like, it's just it's so Coach is just one of a kind. Like, yeah, there's been obviously Debbie Winner, Philip Shepard, like these types of characters, Q, but like I think Coach is the blueprint, and like I think he is just one of a kind.
Yeah, he's great television. That's what I love. You got to have coaches. Coaches need to be in seasons.
Right.
Gotta have coaches. He helped inspire the Q print. Now that we got Q leading the charge for future generations. Okay.
Mike, any other thoughts on Coach here?
We're gonna see him again.
You think?
I think so. He's not done with Survivor. There's no way. We're either gonna see him come back in some like mentor fashion, or he's gonna play the game again. Like, there's gonna be something that's gonna bring him back, and we're not done seeing him. I think I hope for the same for Colby. I am now on the Colby train. Let's go. But yeah, I think that these are iconic people, and you don't have to like them. I don't like Coach, but he is iconic. And I think that, watching kind of Coach end the way he did this season, I think there's more to his story, and I would be surprised if we don't see more of him in some fashion in this game.
I agree. Let's do Coach and Q captain season.
I think Coach and Ozzy. I think that would be the story. That story's not over yet. That story is not over.
They're still mad at each other, I'm pretty sure. Just like Ozzy's mad at Rizzo now. So
I heard some of the cast say that a Coach Rizzo captain season would be something fun.
Ugh, no more Rizzo. I'm good.
Well, Rizzo is like Coach is his idol. Like, so
he Rizzo tamed the dragon.
Yeah, he said we don't slay dragons at camp. We slay them at tribal. Like,
that's like
what an iconic line.
Yeah,
he literally looks like Ralph Macchio from Karate Kid.
Oh my god, yes.
It's like he literally does it. He's like rocks on, rocks off with Coach, and he's like, oh.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great comparison. All right, now we are gonna get to the Jimmy Fallon episode at the final 11. And
it's terrible.
Joe already.
I'm still that Zac Brown was the best celebrity present at this point.
But yes, we are also going to get Jeff Probst competing in a challenge for the first time. So congratulations, Jeff, for competing with the contestants. I mean, it was only a matter of time before Jeff did this once the new era was going in the direction that we saw it going in. So,
and he's like, wow, this is really hard. I'm like, you think? Yeah, I was like, you got to dig deep, Jeff.
I think it was so much fun for the players to be able to just scream at him during the challenge.
Yeah.
Listening to them say, like, dig deep, like, you got to find the power, like, let's go. Like, all of that, like, I think was so they needed that. That was well deserved for the players that were still there to be able to have that moment. So that was super fun to watch.
I love how there's like certain people that like literally dropped out just so they could go over there and like just roast him doing his thing. The Rich like, I'm done. I'm going over there.
That's the reward.
Yeah,
I get to roast Jeff. Great, I'm in.
I know. Yeah, he tries to get Rick Devens to drop. He's like, "You're not winning this anyways. Come commentate."
Yeah, that was good.
Jeff kind of broke character. I kind of like that. I didn't think I was gonna like this part, but then it was like, no, like once we're in it, I'm like, it seemed like everyone like really kind of like let their hair down in this moment, and Jeff's like not Jeff he's not Jeff Probst from Survivor. He's just Jeff holding on for dear life, being like, wow, this is like really hard. I'm like,
well, it was also a moment for him to celebrate too. He's been doing this for 25 years himself. So like he deserves these moments just as much. And like there's a moment that we're going to talk about that I'm going to make sure we talk about that Jeff kind of flubs later on. Not the live thing. I'm talking about something else. But
Ooh.
I will say that Jeff deserved this season just as much as we did and the players did. And to watch him have fun with it and to engage in things he's never done on air before, I think was so much fun. It was a blast to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a good time. Well, speaking of fun things, let's send Christian to Exile Barge and let's have him do the challenge that Rachel did. But there's a twist because Jimmy Fallon has come up with these ideas. I've known Jimmy Fallon has been a fan of Survivor. He's had Jeff on this talk show multiple times over the years. And I guess Jimmy Fallon came up with the Island of the Idols idea, where Sandra and Boston Rob were in the shack. So
Island of Ideas. That's a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one. So this twist, so Christian has to complete the challenge that Rachel Lamont won in 47 to be able to get the positive twist with this vote, but he obviously fails. And I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on this? Christian has to now vote for himself. So
my issue isn't necessarily that he has to vote for himself. It's the fact that then he has to go back to camp, read the notes to everyone, and let everyone know that he's voting for himself. If he had to vote for himself, but he could lie about it, I think this is fine. I actually don't really have complaints about it because that means that other people have to have made the decision to go for Christian here on their own will. Or Christian tells people and he tells the wrong people and then that spills. That then becomes up to Christian. Christian's entire agency gets stripped from this and is basically like he's just served on a silver platter to where honestly the only person who maybe could have survived this is Cirie or Ozzy and Rizo, and they play their idols. Like those are the only ways that people are like maybe, and even then, like I think people would still be like Cirie's got to vote against herself. Like I still think that people could have turned on her. So it was really just like a recipe to screw someone the second that they decided that wrinkle had to come into it as well.
Yeah, he might as well have just like shot himself in front of everybody again because it was just like the worst thing. Like, it was like you guys go back, read this in front of everybody, and shit yourself.
Yeah, the shit in the urn.
It's like we're waiting, and it's like, well, Christian's like, but again, I feel like that twist in general. I feel like most people. Anybody that like falls that position would hop on that chance to vote that person out. Kind of thing. I mean, maybe like again, Joe, to your point, like maybe there's like one or two people that could finagle their way out of that. But like, I feel like if anyone goes out there and does that and then comes back and it's like, well, that's kind of like you're literally serving up like that person as like just a freebie to vote out for the next round kind of thing.
Survivor players love also funny things, and guess what? Like Christian now gets to be the first Survivor player and only Survivor player to vote themselves out of the game. And
he's not the first to shoot himself. Right?
I struggle with the Survivor is a TV show, but it's also a game, right?
Yes.
And this is one of those moments where those two things conflict so heavily that it's hard to understand what I feel in the moment. Because I enjoyed the TV the TV moment of it was epic. It was crazy. He's the first person to vote himself out. Fine, right? But then there's the game aspect. And to me, like you said earlier, like it takes his agency away. And it almost is kind of like this, like he's got to give up. Like he doesn't have any option. And it's very infuriating as somebody who loves the game to watch somebody who is playing the game so well and so hard have to go out like that. And so I think that's where I'm conflicted is that, yes, it was fun TV. And yes, it was really like this crazy moment in Survivor history, but it also like broke the game a bit. And it kind of, that was a little infuriating for me. So I feel both. I feel like, well, that was kind of exciting, but then I was like, oh my God, that was horrible. So
Yeah, it was funny seeing Christian be rightfully irate at Jimmy Fallon. So,
and then at tribal council, then being like mad or not mad, only you can tell. And then Jeff being like, Christian, I can't tell if you're mad right now or not. I'm like, I'm pissed.
I'm pissed.
I'm pissed. Are you kidding me? It's like, why on earth would this be a good idea? Like, yeah, it's just, and just like, that'd be funny. Like, you gonna vote yourself, huh? Right? And I was like, okay. Then snaps his torch right afterwards. And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah. I
Um,
would have looked Jeff like dead in the eye if that happened.
Yeah.
Like, he's like I'm like just so mad. I'm like,
Yeah, I would be too. We also missed Rick Devens pulling the fake idol at Tribal. We need to mention that.
yeah.
At the last Tribal, which that was at the Boston Watch Party too, I believe, right? That was at the Tide Destinies Tribal.
Yeah.
That got a big reaction as well. That was a lot of fun to see with a big crowd. So I obviously, like, we were waiting for half the season for that moment to pay off, and it paid off really well.
Yeah.
So
It was a good plot device that like got introduced earlier that actually was, it just didn't like, it wasn't something that didn't go anywhere. It actually had an effect that rippled.
Yeah, Chekhov's gun. If this never happened, we would have not seen it in episode 2. Like they would have edited around that. It was great. We'll never really know, I think, if that was the right move to do it in this tribal council, because there's been a lot of people who have kind of come off and said like, oh, we weren't going to do that, but then also you kind of see like people were definitely going to be voting them at that tribal council, and they're kind of changing their tune after the fact. So people never want to be looking dumb, so they're now gonna just immediately change and pivot to what ends up actually happening there.
Right, it was a fun moment. I believe we also got Aubry doing her Scarlet Letter thing as well at the Christian Tribal, right, where she pulls out the idol, is like, this is like a Scarlet Letter, I'm just gonna play it. So obviously big moment for Aubry, because now her winners edit kind of spikes up in these last like 5 episodes. Huge moment there. And I think for Aubry it makes sense, because now her threat level definitely goes down, because everybody just saw her misplay an idol. So it's better to misplay one than go home with one, as we're going to talk about soon.
100%.
And this is the point where Aubry also starts getting like lumped in with like the middle of the pack players. And I think her arc is about to continue when she starts talking to Jonathan about having other options instead of being tied to a sinking ship. Her words, not mine. But like, I think it was interesting to say less. And Christian going home was kind of the start of that.
All right, well, let's jump into the final big celebrity cameo, which is, of course, MrBeast. And so we all knew it was coming from the trailer that MrBeast was going to show up. We didn't know when. We get the auction episode, and it's the chaos, or the regular, the non-chaos option, as it were. And of course, MrBeast is the chaos option with the super beware advantage. I mean, what did you guys think of MrBeast here?
So I do watch MrBeast. I am, I guess, a fan. I will if I see it. Yeah, I'm a beastie over here. If I see a video, I'll go ahead and watch it. I will say what I'm glad about in this episode is that he did not make it about himself.
Yes,
he was very like in the background and a bit more of like a viewer essentially of the episode. We didn't get any confessionals of him. I think that was something everyone was scared. It was us getting a confessional during the auction, after the auction, before tribal council. Like, we didn't do that. He was just a spectator here, so I can at least give him some respect. And he like went on afterwards, was like, I made sure like not to make this about me. The producers wanted it to be a little more about MrBeast and like having him have moments, but he didn't want that. He wanted it to be about the players, so you can at least give some respect to him wanting to do that.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree. I thought he knew the optic of it and how it would look to a viewer, because he's running his own show. So he knew, like, I'm just going to be in the background. I'm going to do my thing, step aside, and not be like this person that's projected into, like, so he was just a passenger, which was awesome. And of course, this all did kind of hinder on a coin flip. And it's like, it could either go really bad or really well. And I think because it went well, it's like you arguably have the best celebrity cameo the whole season because of the coin flip.
Yeah.
It also needs a Rick Devens to want to be
Yes.
doing that.
Yes.
Like if everyone was scared and they had to draw rocks to have someone do it, oh my god, terrible.
Yeah. I do think Rick Devens makes the moment.
Yes.
Like that's just
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I was a little fearful. I wouldn't say I'm not a MrBeast fan, but MrBeast's whole thing is spectacle. And I was a little nervous that it was going to turn into spectacle. And I feel like the moment itself was spectacle, but I don't think the entire like situation was spectacle. And so like Rick Devens made it the spectacle, and Rick Devens is the player. And so that I enjoyed. So I was actually very pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed the episode, and I enjoyed the twist. Coming down to a coin flip is a little bit nerve-wracking, but I think it paid off in the end. It could have not, and it could have been devastating, and I could have watched Devens go home an episode early. But it is what it is. I love Rick Devens. I love a big Rick Devens moment, and we got that in this. So I'm happy with it.
And this could allude to him and his son going on MrBeast in the future.
Yes.
I think it's very possible. I think MrBeast is going to be reaching out to Rick and to Aubry at some point to do some kind of MrBeast thing because of this.
I agree. Yeah, so Devens gets the $2 million for Aubry, and gets also another free idol out of that as well. And we are going to lose Stephenie LaGrossa, another old school icon of this game. And you know, I think Stephenie kind of ended up being a little over her head in the game at points. Also, like, I mean, I think I loved the moment of her with the arm over her head, and kind of alluding back to like the injury she got in Heroes versus Villains and how that has still caused issues to this day. I think that's really fascinating stuff. And Stephenie will always be like one of the most memorable players for what happened in Palau. I mean, like everybody remembers that she was the last member of Ulan. So
That's made it an entire tribe by herself.
And she was like she wasn't the first player, but she was one of the first players to come back immediately the next season and do better and be the runner up in that season that people forget about. Guatemala, Dark Horse of the Golden Ages. Go watch it.
Yes,
well, like
I like it.
It's
I
like Stephenie, like it's just, I know people are like, love her or hate her, and it's like, I mean, she was kind of like the OG like female player that was like that physically good at her tribe didn't win challenges, but I feel like she was the only one that was like actually capable of like doing that stuff in those early seasons. And everyone's like, well, you're bad luck. I'm like, no, like she's competitive, like she competes, like she knows what she's doing. But I think she always would just get paired with kind of dumbos kind of thing. And then but then her kind of America's Sweetheart, a story arc came from Plow, and then she was more villainous in Guatemala, and then she got cut early in Heroes vs. Villains. So I mean, I thought I can see the love and hate for like, like, did she deserve to come back or did she not deserve to come back? But her being able to like fall on the sword for Jonathan's gameplay, and not be like, like, even though she was rooting for Jonathan, but like being we'll talk about that. Yeah, like she definitely like, it's like I mean, I was totally okay with seeing her on this season kind of thing. But,
yeah, she made sense to be here.
I'm not a huge Stephenie fan. I'm going to be honest. I thought her moment where she was doing the arm was boring. I think she just grades people, I think, in the wrong way a lot of the time. And like she just doesn't have that strategic backbone. I think the problem with a lot of the old school players that they brought for the season, a lot of them were not very strategically sound. Like they really did kind of get like the people who are just super old school loyalty kind of situations where I think they needed like a Rob Cesternino or a Jonathan Penner. Like they needed
or like
they needed at least a couple people like that who were like, I'm going all in on the strategy even though I'm an old school player, because it just didn't feel like they really got a good mix of all styles. Because new era, they did get some of the old school like different like you need to have people of multiple different styles.
Absolutely.
Sorry guys.
You're good. We were like, oh, we lost Mike.
I'm over talking about Stephenie apparently.
Episode 11, and this is another double boot round where Jonathan now gets to play the middle between the two sides going to tribal. We are going to end up going to the Emily Flippen tribal first, where Cirie does play her extra vote that Ozzy has given her and ends up saving her in the tie, and Emily is voted out. I mean, I thought Emily's messy gameplay was going to catch up to her eventually. She did well with playing as messy as she did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I first off though, I know the show Purple with Tiffany here, but we got to mention about how it started because Tiffany got it's hard to say screwed because she did DQ in the challenge.
Yes.
But also I think it's kind of dumb in that challenge that it comes down to standing on one foot. I think that's kind of hard to really call that like a great challenge in terms of, you know, the stakes of it. But yeah, it was a weird moment when suddenly, you know, she has to get the immunity just ripped from her and then give to Jonathan. And we do kind of have to just trust that that's how it goes. And like they show us obviously in like the flashbacks of all that stuff, but like they all didn't get to like go see the cameras. They just kind of had to be like, oh, okay, I guess Jonathan won. Which
that was interesting. I mean,
Emily was literally like 2 seconds away from winning, so it would have been very different if that happened.
100%. And like it's also interesting because like they also just came out and said that this challenge is now retired from Survivor, which is a very wild thing that they're retiring the doghouse challenge, but whatever.
It's great moments.
I don't particularly agree with the decision to retire this. I feel like this is a classic challenge since it's been introduced. So
it's great. I think you just gotta let them play it out once they get both feet on the top. Like I know that they were like scared for time, but like maybe this isn't the challenge to do it if you're scared for time. Like you got to let them potentially be up there for like an hour.
Right.
Yeah, I think giving an endurance challenge in a day where you are pressed for production time, I think was a poor mistake on production. I think that an endurance challenge was not the way to go. That being said, I saw the Tiffany foot not come up initially. I was like, that's weird. Like they didn't notice that. And then when they played it back, I was like, okay, good. I'm not crazy. But on the flip side of that too, like I really do feel like lifting one foot in the middle of a challenge like that, there is a lot of like, there's not a lot of like guaranteed, like, I don't know, like there's not a lot of fairness in it, I guess is
like
what I'm
wiggle
trying to
room.
say.
Yeah, you can't have everyone lift their foot at the exact same time. Like some people are going to do it early, some people are going to do it a little late. It's hard to really.
People are falling off, so it's not like anybody stood there for any length of time. So it was clearly a way to end the challenge, and it like giving them a 10-second countdown, like no, like that. I don't know. It felt icky to me. I didn't like the way the challenge ended. And for Jonathan to have so much power from a challenge like that, I think that was a huge production misstep. But it is what it is. That's what we got. We got Jonathan with some higher power. But no, I didn't like the challenge at all.
Yeah. So any thoughts now as we head to tribal and we lose Emily Flippen first? I mean, any thoughts on Emily's game before we obviously hit the heartbreaking one?
Yeah, definitely messy, but like she tried like on her way out, like her and Rick had like, you know, that was definitely probably the craziest tribal council of the whole season. We're like, you know, them being like, we've never seen Cirie like frazzled.
Yes.
Like it's like she's like, you know, like it's just she's always this calm, cool, collected person. And the fact that Cirie was so close to going home, but like again, her being Cirie and clocking it and then being able to, you know, take Emily out was pretty wild. So it was a wild way for Emily to go out in general. Like her, you know, a chaotic game has a chaotic ending. So
yeah. And I believe Cirie is now the only person in Survivor history to use an extra vote correctly.
Oh wow!
But I not necessarily correctly, but like it mattered. Like if she didn't do that, she goes home.
Yeah. That's actually crazy. I didn't even realize that was the first time. Wow.
Yeah.
So
it's usually, I mean, it's the worst advantage in Survivor. Like an extra vote has like a small chance in your game. Potentially it's useful. So
I can relate now too. So yeah, we are now gonna head to the heartbreaking tribal. Of course, Ozzy ends up telling Aubry everything, which is going to bite him in the butt as Rizo turns on Cirie's Wizard of Oz, and we are going to have Ozzy going out with an idol in his pocket once again. I think the edit like clearly telegraphed that was going to happen. Like they showed it from the beginning of like Ozzy's worried he's going to go out with an idol again in his pocket, and I thought that's absolutely where it was leading. So it wasn't shocking, but it was definitely still heartbreaking, especially because like we knew Ozzy was going to take it really, really hard because he always takes his blindsides very, very hard.
Mm-hmm.
He walked out with an idol again. Like I think that's what's heartbreaking about it, right? Is that he fell for the same trap again. Like it wasn't just getting blindsided. It wasn't just getting voted out. It was getting voted out with the idol, and everybody knew he had it.
Right.
So everybody played it well and played it correctly to vote him out, and he got played by it. And it like I think if I were Ozzy, that would be the piece that really just sank me. Is that I did this again? Like I let this happen to me again. In 50, it's season 50. So I think that's the part that I think is the most heartbreaking, at least from my perspective. Ozzy was super fun to watch this season. I know I went on the podcast saying like Ozzy's kind of a little bit cocky, a little bit kind of I'm over him being of himself, but he wasn't like that this season, and I felt really really good with Oscar. I thought Oscar was really fun to watch this season. So good on Ozzy. Sorry he went out again in the same way.
Yes. I enjoyed Ozzy the most I think I've ever enjoyed him, besides his first time. And like I think that like I thought his arc should have ended in South Pacific, but like now it's like okay, I can buy like at this point this being his final time. I think it was a good way to end his arc as well here. So
I really liked Ozzy as well. What bums me about this is in the previous episode when they did the loved ones letters, they gave 4 people the loved ones letters. They gave Ozzy, Cirie, Devens, and Aubry. And I care about looking at the edit and confessionals. Cirie and Devens, they don't have a confessional in every episode. So we're kind of left with Ozzy and Aubry because like they're going to clearly give their winner this like emotional thing because everyone had that moment. Everyone's got this moment to be like sad and dramatic about their loved ones. And so then once Ozzy goes here, it just is like, okay, well, there's only one person left that can win this game, and we got 2 more episodes to get through here. So for me, like losing Ozzy, because I do think he had a potential winner's edit in what we were seeing up until this episode. So for him to go here and it felt like they really were giving him like the other option to Aubry, but then we still have to kind of sludge through and get through the last few episodes here. It's it was disappointing for me because I just felt like I already knew the final outcome, and as a fan, like, and you're watching like a whodunit, you want to like always be second guessing yourself and wondering about going into the finale like, ooh, actually it could be these people as well. And it did feel like this was the like nail in the coffin to like I know exactly what's about to happen.
It's unfortunate, but I think Ozzy, I think it's hard because like I understand why he's saying what he's saying, and why he's putting his full trust in people. I totally get it, but like it unfortunately was a bad move to tell Aubry everything. So we now get to episode 12, the penultimate episode, another double boot, and here we are going to lose 2 more legends of this game.
I cried again.
So Rick Devens getting booted here is really sad as well, because especially when he's talking about like he looked at the stars and like that he feels closer to heaven. Like it was definitely sad. And like, again, Devens brought so much entertainment as we've talked about throughout this entire podcast. So it was sad to see him go in this way.
I love that he had a good attitude though for the majority of the games. I remember watching a pre-interview with him and him being like, he wanted to attack this game with like as much positivity as possible, which makes a lot of sense for some people they're playing the game, that sometimes they need that to get through the game because I mean, newsflash, Survivor is hard.
Yes.
So it's like sometimes there are people that can like trudge it out and sludge it out and be kind of like whatever, but some people need to kind of like just be a complete goofball in it to survive it. If that makes any sense. Because it's like that's like a good version of play your game. Don't be somebody else. Be you. Like be who you need to be to get through this game.
Yes.
Not what like other people think. If you need to go down to the water and be a goofball and do starfishes,
yes,
to get through the day, do that. Don't pretend to be someone. It makes more sense now than ever to not be someone that you're not when you're playing Survivor.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy like seeing the people that can like switch it on and off, and like for me, I can't switch it on and off. For example, like I'm going to be who I'm going to be, and like that's just the emotions are going to factor in regardless. So
I also like Rick's little thing when we was talking about the stars, where he felt like whenever you see one, it feels like it's just one for you kind of thing.
Yeah,
very touching.
Yeah. Anything else on Devens before we hit the other sad vote up?
He'll be back. He'll be back.
Yeah. Rick Devens is another one that I think is we have not seen the end of him. He's clearly one of Jeff's favorites. I think like the moment in the hammock is what hit it for me, is just when he's like I think it was Jonathan.
Yes,
I can't remember who it was. And he's like he's straight for a second, and then all of a sudden he just loses it because he knows like his game's kind of over. But obviously doesn't want it to be. It's just I feel like Rick Devens is the epitome of like new era Survivor. You know, that kind of season 30 through 40, like just like you picture him immediately. And I felt for him in that moment. He is and will always be iconic in Survivor. I actually thought that he was getting a winner's edit until Christian went home. And I was like, Devens is going to take this. There's no way he loses. And then when Christian went home, I just saw the whole hill fall out. But I think Devens is a great player. I think he's a lot of fun. As much as he's a chaos agent, I think that he is chaos agent for entertainment, not chaos agent in the game. I think that in the game he plays very, very well. So
well, he's also the king of tribal councils, and most players are not good at tribal council. Like they are keeping their cards close to their chest, and when Devens thinks that he is on the outs or the bottom, or that he is in trouble, he will blow up people's games to create like cracks at tribal council. And you know, like he's not scared to make those big moves there, whereas a lot of other players in those situations would hope to just skate by and then figure things out at camp. But he loves the theater tribal council. I love Devens. He is like my favorite player. I just want to see Devens again. I wish that like what I don't like about this episode specifically is that we lose like two of the biggest names that are currently on the season. And kind of like just like you guys have to go kind of like like, you know, like as the start of that round, you know that they are going home basically. Like you just know that is going to happen. I wish that they at least got like their own episodes or something, because like kind of cramming these two into this 90 minutes, I just kind of felt like it just felt like a little rush to me.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's this season, unfortunately, with 26 days, is they crammed a lot of this season into like these 2-hour episodes, and it just like I think that's a big flaw in the season, unfortunately. Well, we're gonna lose Cirie as well. Unfortunately, I did think that they're like, since it came down to Cirie and Aubry, I'm like, whichever one. I mean, it was clear Cirie was going, but like whichever one doesn't go is probably gonna be the winner. But yeah, it's unfortunate to lose Cirie. Again, she is one of the greatest players to never win. She is probably the greatest player to never win this game. The only time she's ever gone out early is because in Heroes vs. Villains, because of an idle play and JT flipping. Like that's the only reason she's ever gone out early, and she probably would have been fine to again make merge in that season. So I just think like she is so skilled at this game to where every other time she can just make it make a deep run. So she just
Yeah.
can't make it to the end.
Yeah. I think this was the most dominating game that Cirie has ever played, to be honest. Like in all of her other seasons, I think that she's like allied with other really strong players, and it feels like it's a little more like a cooperative, like running the show. This felt like Cirie was running the show. And if you do something that Cirie doesn't like, you're screwed. You know, like you're cooked. Every decision had to be through Cirie until it was literally Cirie's time.
Or Joe.
Literally
Joe.
every time.
Oh, Joe. Yeah, Joe also had to, but he was the GOAT, so you have to run through your strategy with the GOAT.
Right.
Yeah. Literally every time someone would like come up with a plan, they're like, I'm gonna go up to Cirie and tell her about it. And then they'd tell her the plan, and she's like, well, that person's gotta go. And it's like, I wonder and I'm like, I wonder who's gonna go home this episode. Whoever Cirie says is going home. But then eventually, like, she's obviously good enough to get to these single digits of like players left in the game. But then, like, once like she wades through all that, she gets back into this like final 6, final 5 situation where there's still enough people to be smart enough to be like, okay, well, now it's time to get rid of Cirie, because I know that she'll definitely be able to get me all the way to this point. So literally final 7, final 6, final like that. But then they are smart enough to be like, okay, now I can't be next to her at the end because she'll win. But this is also another thing where they're talking about all these things like we can't take her to the end because we'll lose to her. And this happens to some other people as well in the game. But again, it's this weird edit where I feel like I'm missing information. I'm like, where did you have this conversation that like, you know, it's like, I feel like I'm missing a piece. We'll talk about it like later with like the Jonathan Joe Rizo thing. I'm like, when were you guys in an alliance? Like, when did this conversation happen? Like, I feel like there's stuff that we're missing that we didn't get to see that was like the final conversation that led us down the path of someone getting voted out, especially Cirie.
Yeah.
I feel like this was a fine finish for her. Obviously I would love to see her win the game. Like I think she deserved that too. But I think like to harken back to Game Changers and how she goes out at 6 there as opposed to going out at 6 here, I feel like it was a much more satisfying, like she gets voted out. She gets like she's seen as the threat that she is, and she finally gets like voted out of the game. Whereas every other season, it was some sort of weird twist or an idle play or advantage getting or like something that kind of takes her out in some weird way. And so this was kind of a nice like end to be like, Cirie, you are the threat. Nobody's going to beat you at the end. Here's the end of your story. And like, I do think it's satisfying enough. Do I want her to win the game? Yes. But like, I think this kind of like resolves all of the other, random shit that's happened to her to end her games before, that this is like a satisfying, you got voted out. This is real. Like you are the threat. So
yeah, definitely. I think this is also where we talked about it with Mike Turner on our finale recap, Shane and I did, and I think this is where we came to the agreement. I think Jonathan probably loses the game by not voting out Aubry here. So
because Cirie continues to be a threat and she just goes out at 5.
Right. Yeah. She's not gonna win
5 or fire. Like, I mean, you can put Jonathan or Joe into fire against her, like
100%.
Yeah, exactly.
That was another thing that I was actually sorry if I can take like 30 more seconds. So like Cirie doesn't ever win fire. Like she's never gonna win fire. And she's probably not gonna win the Final 4 challenge. So in my mind, like I almost feel like bringing Cirie to the Final 4 does make sense. That like you throw her into fire and that's how you take her out of the game. Like there is kind of a satisfying end to that, but she gets voted out. Cool. That's
that was also Rizo's mistake, is if Cirie's in Final 4 fire making, they're not putting him into fire against Cirie. So he would have absolutely made it to the end.
But
and then we also start talking about like we're going to mention at the end like stories and who's got the better narrative. And I think like at the time at 6, it's like, oh, Aubry or Cirie. Cirie's got like the ultimate story, whereas Aubry was like, okay, maybe they probably thought like, well, we'll do Cirie because she's got the best story here, and then we'll do Aubry when it's convenient because of like whatever. But then that never ends up becoming the case because of Tiff going home next, kind of thing. Like you're putting off something until it's too late, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I agree. Let's get to this finale to close this giant podcast out. So we are going to end up having Jonathan beating Tiffany by seconds in the challenge. He does the worm, which is wild.
After he puked,
yes,
you know.
yeah, that was just wild. So Jonathan wins immunity, and then we're gonna get to tribal, where basically Tiffany is gonna be called out as being the threat. I do see her point of being like, why. I understand what she's saying, like being like, why am I being targeted when over the guys who also have won immunities? But obviously we know why, because Joe is not seen as a threat to win this game. But so
this is my Jeff misstep that I was talking about earlier. I feel like Jeff jumped in and defended Jonathan in a way, with some of the banter back and forth with Tiffany. Tiffany was clearly angry, and Tiffany clearly needed to get what she needed to say out there. And I think Jeff actually was making it worse by being like, well, I mean, like, maybe they have an alliance or something. Let Jonathan speak. Let Jonathan talk, so that Jonathan can put his foot in his mouth and say the wrong thing, like he probably would have. And so I feel like Jeff did a misstep there, in the sense of like entering himself in conversation. But I think Tiffany's right. I think that Tiffany, there was a conversation that didn't air apparently, where Jonathan basically said, "But you're a girl."
Yeah.
And Tiffany was like, "That's not a thing. Like, Joe won the same amount of challenges as I have." And he's like, but you're a girl. And Tiffany's like, what does that matter? Like, I don't understand. So I do think there was some other stuff like kind of mixed in with that. And that's what made Tiffany so angry. I think she needed to say what she needed to say. I'm glad she got to say it. I was a Tiffany fan from the beginning. I know a lot of people were like, why is she there? I love Tiffany. I think that she played a great game. It's just the cards didn't fall in her favor with this final grouping of people, and it is what it is. But I don't think Jeff should have jumped in on that conversation. It wasn't his conversation to have.
Yeah, I like Tiffany. I just wish that she was edited better. Like, that was my thing, is like, I like right now in like new era Survivor, the 5th place finisher for some reason always gets a terrible edit, but then in like the final stages, it's like they're gonna win the game, and it kind of comes out of nowhere. And I think it's because they're like, we got to get through a finale. This person's just gonna kind of get unceremoniously taken out. Let's just like not give them an edit, I guess, to let it just happen quickly. But it's like, we need this finale. Really needed someone else to challenge Aubry here, and you could have done it to Tiffany, you could have done it to Jonathan, you could have done it to, like, there were people that you could have really tried to give a decoy winners edit to, and like, if you're Tiffany literally could have won the game if she wins that final 5 immunity. I think she could have won final 4 immunities to motion. And if not, I think she still would have had a pretty good chance in fire against whoever they put up against her. So the fact that, just because she loses here and goes out 5th, they kind of like under-edited her. I think it's a disservice.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yep, I agree.
But yeah, she'll definitely be back though.
Yeah,
I hope it's tough. It's tough. Like, I think that if they really wanted her back, she would have gotten a better edit. So I'm a little scared.
I see that too, but I do think like they at least gave her a good send off in her segment at the reunion. So like, that does give me hope that they might consider bringing her back again.
Well, that's another great thing about a live reunion, CBS, is that when you screw up the edit, you get a chance to like make it better, because you hear all of the other responses to the edit before the finale. So I think they did a smart thing. I think it was a smart choice. I don't think it was necessarily the choice they wanted to make, but I think it was a smart choice to bring Tiffany out, have that conversation with her, and let her kind of have her flowers for the live. I thought that was really, really nice of them to do.
Agreed. Agreed. Well, let's get to Samotion, because the fans voted for Samotion. I guess the other choices, I just wanted
Aubry voted for Samotion.
Yeah. I practiced this at home. Everybody at the watch party went like, "What?" Like, I was like, "Come on!" Like,
that was smart. Well, when she sees it as one of the options, of course that's what she's gonna do.
Yeah, and it's the one that everyone knows.
Right. Yeah, and at this point with the edit, the Aubry. Well, with the train, with the route that we're going on down at this point, it's pretty much like Aubrey's she's in a very, we can see the horizon, if that makes any sense. I will say the last challenge, Jonathan did give me like a spring of hope for a second, or I was like, whoa, like he actually like did that challenge, won it, maybe he's got a shot. But then we went back to Aubry coming into this and then just doing what she does and being like, being that underdog and sticking around kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I knew Jonathan could never win because he stuck his tongue in the rice in the previous episode. They're not going to show that to the winner.
He ate raw rice.
Yeah.
But yeah, Aubry does win, has this moment because I think she knows in that moment she just won the game basically. So
she had to win this too, because it was the only route for her to win the game as if she won this immunity, because she was not winning fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's always the people that win this challenge at the end that need it the most.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like I kind of like these emotional reactions of like the person that realizes they just won the game. Like Boston Rob had at Redemption Island, he realized he finally won the game.
Yeah.
Like that. I really like when those emotions come out.
Yeah.
So
especially all of the years worth and like lore built up at that point, being like, oh my gosh, I finally got over this. This hump kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Exactly. So, and then we find out 60% of fans voted for fire making. So
60% casual fans.
Yes.
It was literally all because of how they phrased it, where they phrased it like fire making adds so much drama and tension, or do you just want like a vote? Like that's how they phrased it, which is like, obviously.
But taking that into account and then looking how this ended is like, I probably prefer to vote. But I know Mike's gonna come in. Mike's gonna come in, and it's like we're not bashing Jeff. I do agree. Now it was hot at the time. I do agree. It was definitely a production.
Yeah, production.
It was a total production misstep. But I will say
because Jeff's the one doing it, and he's the one that he's like, it's Jeff, but it's not Jeff. It's the people running the prompt in the background,
right? And the people that pulled Jeff out of the green room and then sent him on stage, and
Rizo,
it was all planned incorrectly.
Yeah.
What I will say is that CBS deserves this, because y'all wanted the fire making and you got the fizzled out most ridiculous fire making challenge we've ever watched, and you flubbed it by giving us the answer before we saw it. So you screwed it up, CBS. You have now cost us fire making. No more fire making. Let's get rid of it. This is the end. CBS, you did it to yourself.
My issue is that they're going to try to say, well, clearly more people like fire making, so we're going to keep doing it. Like
60%. 60% is not a huge majority.
Yeah, but they're going to try. They're going to say, oh, well, it was all on you guys. You guys had the chance to change how we format this game, and you guys chose not to.
Oh,
and then we chose the live, which showed all of your ridiculousness.
Yeah, and they're going to use that as an excuse to not have live reunions
anymore.
This is
why we don't do live, because people make mistakes.
Because you don't know how to do your job. That's why.
I'm like,
I shouldn't say that on.
Well, Mike, you should be happy that we did fire making, because I actually think I think Jonathan actually would have been voted out here instead of Rizo, and so Rizo would have made it to the end.
Yeah, that's fair. But I think Rizo doesn't win. Like I think
no. I think he gets second though. I do think he gets like a D vote. To get there. Cirie might even vote Rizo, and the thing is, she's had a lot of sway on the Ponderosa jury, so there is a world where she does try to get people to go on to Rizo instead of Aubry, but also she played a season with Aubry. They made it essentially in the same area. So
do you think Jonathan gets voted off? I think we still end up with fire making, because I think Aubry and Rizo vote for Jonathan, and Jonathan and Joe vote for Rizo.
I found out that Joe had a final 2 deal with Rizo.
Oh, okay.
That was something that was revealed. So that's why he was helping out Rizo there at Final Four. So he would have voted Jonathan over Rizo.
Okay, because that was a good callback as well. To him helping Eva in 48. So I did like that from Joe. I did want to say that tribal council as well. I related so much to Rizo in that moment with what he was saying, and you know, being the person that's kind of like the underdog and like used to being like stepped on and everything. Like, I don't know. I just related to Rizzo a lot in that moment.
He was like, how can I be so good and so bad at the same time?
That's a question I ask myself all the time.
Every day. Imposter syndrome is real.
As
Yeah.
he's crying, he's like, RizGod, RizGod Baby.
God, baby.
Go.
Well, we lose the RizGod to fire for the second season in a row, and now we have our final three. We get the family visit. We get Jonathan's brother looking like Mario.
Yeah, Joe's tall wife.
Yeah, Joe's tall wife.
Made him look small, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Joe's a big guy, so it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, then we get to final tribal council, and so basically Aubry just argues a good case. I think Jonathan doesn't do a bad job, but he doesn't exactly do a great job. And then Joe just knows he's pretty much screwed.
Yeah, I think Jonathan's issue is he has like such a commanding like intensity to the way that he like talks that it almost sometimes sounds like he's like saying, I'm better than you, gotta vote for me because I'm better than you. And that to a lot of people, like a Cirie is not going to enjoy hearing him saying, someone saying that they're better than you. You have to have some humility, and that's something that I think Jonathan just lacked in the season, like celebrating when he beats Stephenie in the immunity and all that stuff. Like I said the thing with the tongue in the rise, like there's a lot of moments that I think Jonathan just would irk people, and like it almost in a Russell Hantz way, like it gets you farther in the game, and you can kind of still strategically maneuver, but it costs you jury votes in the end. And that's kind of what we really see is like he messed up and got on the bad side of the wrong people. And
then like the way he talks too, where it's kind of like he's like, okay, you technically did play a better game than your first time, but it's like it also reminded me kind of like how Boston Rob was in All Stars, where he like, and it's kind of ironic because he was taking lessons from Boston Rob, where it's the whole thing where it's like, oh, like you did so well, but you totally forgot that you're dealing with people on the other end of it. And then you expect them to be just like, but I play, like, it's like the whole, like, well, I played better than you. Well, don't tell them that. Like, you got to kind of be more kind of gentle when you're talking to the jury a little bit, and be a little, again, humility.
I think when you say that you take someone out, you got to be like, I took you out because you're such a great player. Like you got to say stuff like that.
You don't be like, I got your ass. And then just being like, yeah, well, he didn't do that, but it was just like, you got to be definitely he played a better game, but then it just comes down to like that, just being a little bit more, not sensitive, but you're being a little bit more kind of, I don't know if the word's considerate, but you're kind of like working your way. You're being a little out of like vulnerable, emotional, but you're delicate, I think is the word.
It's not delicate.
Yeah, it was not a delicate handling. And then Aubry just had the story, because we'll talk about this, having a story in the narrative.
I found Jonathan, his game never paid off, and I think there were moments where he would make like really great headway with a player like Stephenie or Aubry, and then it would just fizzle out, and there wouldn't be this like payoff of that relationship or that conversation. There was that conversation that he had, I believe it was with Stephenie at a reward, way back when, where like, hey, like Stephenie is somebody that I could easily work with, and like this is going to be a great relationship for me to build, and then it never like pays off. There's never any sort of conversation between Jonathan and Stephenie that Jonathan utilizes and uses Stephenie to advance himself into the game. Instead, he makes her feel foolish in the last like two rounds she's in. So if you think that Stephenie's going to turn around and then vote for you to win, like that doesn't make sense to me. So I think that Jonathan misplayed a lot of his early like connections and never really followed through with them at the end game. Like there was never any like recheck-ins or like any of that. He was locked in with his people, and that was the end of it, which also I think is part of why Stephenie was angry about what was going on.
Yeah. And then Steph like fawning
that
over
too, yeah.
Jonathan at
Yeah.
Final Tribal.
Ridiculous.
So, which was crazy. All right. Well, I think that's everything. So Aubry wins 8-3 to 0 over Jonathan and Joe. Congratulations, Aubry. You also won a car. So
Yeah, I think that was too much. I
knew
was
about that, right?
not. I didn't know about the car.
Yeah,
She
I
knew
know.
about it though,
Oh,
right?
she was like, apparently not.
Probably.
She said that
Like,
she
the
was
way
very
she's
surprised.
like, "Get a car!" And she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, yeah." I was like,
Yeah.
Aubry, come on.
Yeah.
What?
I would have been down honestly if they gave that to second place Jonathan, like as like a consolation prize or something. But like
Yeah.
you know, Aubry got $2 million. Like she
And
doesn't.
Cirie got 100,000.
Yeah.
There's a real question here though.
Is
Does
there?
it break the car curse?
No,
No,
you
no.
can't do it afterwards. Like this is she already won the game. Like you can't then also give a car and then say that is so no.
Right. Agreed. She had to have won the car before winning.
Yeah, if she did something in the game to get the car, yeah, but literally the game is over. She has already celebrated the win. Like
We need to put that question to rest. The car curse
Yeah.
is still on.
Yeah. South Africa, Dino did break it in South Africa, but U.S. Survivor.
Okay.
and
Did you
Australian
just spoil
Survivor.
who won South Africa?
Oops. All right. Well, let's get to our rankings as one of our last three things in this massive podcast.
Is this the longest one? Are we going to be breaking a record?
Nothing
I
will
think
ever
so.
break Amazon's 3 hours.
Yeah, technically Amazon was 3
Oh.
hours, but I edited it down. So
Okay.
I don't know.
yeah.
Those were the days, you sweet, sweet summer child.
So first boots, is Jenna Lewis gonna crack this? I don't want to
Yes.
boot Francesca out of the top
Oh.
10.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Jenna, like season 1 Jenna being it's so she was from season 1 and she was the first boot. There's some irony in that, I think.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
It is a legendary season. She is a legendary player. It's also just like I don't know, like it's tough because we have other players who
And she goes out swinging. It's not like she just like
right.
fizzled out in the first episode. She
And-
takes her shot at Cirie Fields.
The right
Right, that's
person
true.
that should go home there, but
Kim-
I do think she's a better first boot than Sierra.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think that would be if we are gonna put
Well-
her, it would probably be there for me.
Well, also like Francesca, like 26 Francesca, like I totally get because of like
Yeah.
of her the reason why she's on that list is because she was the first boot on a different season. But if we're just looking at Francesca's first boot season, I could see Jenna kind of sneaking in there. But
Yeah, I
because
mean-
the only reason why Francesca is the popular one is because of her second boot, not the first one.
I
mean-
mean, she's already on the list. Like I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
like, she is
feel
already on
great
the
about her
list.
Yeah.
voting twice.
I
Yeah.
guess looking at it now, it's like, yeah, Francesca would still be on there, so we can put Jenna on there. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yay.
I'm
So-
down. I'm down to put it where Sierra is at 8. If you guys are,
That's fine
Yeah,
with me.
I
That's
think
fine
that's
with
good.
me.
because we can't do it above Jelinski because he
Yes.
has to. Yeah.
At this point, it's like if you're on the list, you're on the list. The rankings don't exist anymore.
Yeah. All right. Then we have our fallen angels, the man, the myth, the legend, RizGod, RizGod Baby. We didn't put him on for 49. I mean, he's a 2-time fire-making loser, but again, that means he would boot out Sarah Lucina from Winners at War. So, I mean, I will always stay on my RizGod.
How's Rick
feel-
Devens this low? He should be number
I feel like
1 or 2.
I feel like Rizzo can replace Lauren. Like
Yeah, I mean, I'd be down for that, but again, if we're the way we do it, it would be booting Sarah Lucina out. So that's the question: is are we?
I'm torn.
Yeah, I want
The fact that Rizzo has been fallen angel twice
yes.
does kind of give me like this pause of like, does he like he should deserve to be on the list?
He should.
In the,
And it was back-to-back seasons where he held an idol both times
Right.
and never had to use it and got to Final Four. Like there's definitely merit to him being on this list.
I agree.
yeah, I want him to be on there, but it's like Lauren being so high kind of just bugs me a little bit. And I just
Yeah,
feel like
I will.
Because-
It's like I wish we could just like
how did it end up so
just
high?
I wish we could just take that one and
Yeah.
put this one in there, and then it would be like
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
at some point, Shane and I might rearrange certain things. I'll just say that. So
We could put an asterisk next to Rizzo's name and be like, to be continued.
okay, I mean we could do that honestly if we really wanted to.
I just
10 and a half.
He's done it twice.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. I think he's a better fallen angel than Sarah Lucina, to be honest. I can't say Rick Devens because Rick Devens, in my opinion, should be winner too. Like he is.
Sarah
so good for
Lucina
me.
did it in Winners at War. She's already won the game. Like I feel like yes, it was epic, but like I feel like Rizzo doing it twice in a row, two seasons back to back.
yeah.
Let's put him on here. Let's put the man, the myth, the legend. All right.
Don't even act like you're like, okay, fine. Like you want him there,
I guess if you guys want
that's
this.
what you guys really want.
No, like I agree. Like that's a good
Yeah.
his first 2 times he played 2 back-to-back seasons. Went to
And
Final Four
CBS
twice,
screwed
and
him by giving
like-
away the ending there. So we might as well give him a little bit of something.
Yeah. Losing finalists, Jonathan and Joe. I don't think either of them crack this, to be honest.
No, we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
No arguments there.
Yeah. All right. And then Aubry Bracco is a winner. I mean, she won 50. She won $2 million.
You know what? I'd say give her a spot. She's got lore. This whole season is about stories and narratives. And what better way to end this podcast than to give Aubry Bracco a spot?
She did well.
Was it better than Kyle's win in 48?
That's the problem.
I don't like Kyle's. I don't like 48 very much. So for me, I would say just so that way 48 isn't represented here.
Oh my god.
I just feel like Aubry, it's like having a good story is a X factor apparently, and the whole jury thought that's all you needed to win. So it's like as long as you have a good story, you can win the game sometimes. But like, and I just feel like it's Aubry. It's like I can like Kyle will come back for 56, and then he'll win that one, and then we can put him back on this list.
56.
Yeah.
All right. So we're saying Aubry in place of Kyle, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then finally, season rankings. Does Survivor 50 in the hands of the fans crack the top 10?
It's not in my top 10 at all. So
I think it's a top 20 season, possibly top 15. But
I just did my season rankings like unupdated, and I put it at like 26 or 27.
Oh wow.
So yeah.
So to answer your question, no. But to elaborate, I don't know. Like I just felt like there was just so much stuff like going on in this. Again, 20 pounds something, 10 pounds Zac. There's just so many twists, so many things that weren't shown that it just felt like they had so much going on, and it kind of sort of became like not this ball and chain, but it was just there was stuff that was good stuff would happen, and then it would get dragged down because of some game mechanic or whatever.
Yeah,
and
fans
I agree.
Blame the fans.
Yeah. This is the fans' fault, everyone.
It's all the fans' fault.
Yeah, we're all at fault.
I'm actually talking about stealing fans, but you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think the twists did screw things up. I really enjoyed the season though, still for like some of the players and like, you know, I do think there were some really good spots in this season, but then the twists really hurt it, and it felt very crammed because of the number of days and just like all the double boots, the triple boots. Like I just think that's a bit ridiculous.
I feel like they had the cast to make it a great season, but the twists kind of stifled some of the things that could have happened or might have happened. And so I agree. I think it's like a mid-range season at this point because of all of the twists.
The cast delivered just too much interference and everything else to really like if the cast got to just play in a 39 days game with like more episodes too, because it's a grand scale, like this really had the potential to be a top 5 season. But because of all they just kind of fumbled at certain areas, it's just hard to really rate it that high for me.
Agreed.
Or for like 32 days or something like that. Like you just give it like a little bit more room to
30 days, like make it just an even 30 days at least. Like come on. Have it be 15 episodes. I really think it needed a couple more episodes to like let the season breathe.
All right. Second to last question. Favorite male and female players. I'm going with the man, the myth, the legend, RizGod RizGod Baby as my favorite male, obviously. And then I will go Aubry. It was really between Aubry and Cirie for me. And I will pick Aubry. Her journey just came full circle. So I'll go with that. So Jonathan?
Colby and Aubry. I'm going out with my man.
Yeah.
I'm riding off into the sunset with my guy that got me into this show. He redeemed his attitude. Unfortunate how like the physicality aspect of it turned out, but I'm glad that he just redeemed his attitude, and I got to see old school Colby one last time, and just him being there. So
100%. Joe
and Aubry getting that full completion
of
her narrative arc too, and her feeling like she was regressing as a player in the series, but to have her in general just spike back up to be like you got it. So yeah, Colby and Aubry for me.
100%. All right, Joe.
I mean, obviously, I'm Rick Devens' son down here, so I'm going to go with Rick Devens. Greatest entertainment to Survivor TV, and then I got to go with the person who just dominated the game, Cirie. Those are, I think, the two standouts in my mind.
Yeah. Mike?
Yeah, you guys took a lot of mine. But I'm gonna repeat. I think that Devens is by far one of my favorite people to watch. Season 1 of him, 38 was phenomenal. And 50 was no worse. No, it was all of what I expected of him. So it was super fun to watch. And anybody who can get me to cry deserves to be my favorite male or female. That being said, I'm not going to pick Cirie. She'd be a very close second. But I'm actually going to pick Stephenie only because I think the edit didn't give her a lot of screen time, but I think what we did see of Stephenie, I think really showed of why she was there and why she deserved to be there. And to make it to 5 with such iconic people in this game, and to be able to really own that end game, I think that she easily wins if she beats Jonathan in that challenge. And so I think she had the winner's potential. She didn't have the winner's edit by any means, but she certainly had the potential. So I'm going to give it to Stephenie.
All right, sweet. So that is the favorite male and female. Last question. How did this season contribute to the evolution of Survivor? I think it's going to lead to the open era with all these twists now. They're going to bring stuff back from this season. Absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised if 51, they all of a sudden bring a blood moon in at some point. I really won't be surprised to see a lot of these twists making a return right away in 51. So
we'll have a blood sun, or the Macaulay Culkin idol. Or you're now home alone on the island. What are you gonna get? Traps, kind of thing.
Oh God, are we gonna get Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern all of a sudden entering the game?
You have the Goodfellas idol.
The new exile is going to be Severance, because Adam Scott was
what do you guys have for evolution?
For me, it's going to be leaving things at Tribal to discover in front of everyone, because I think Devens has opened up that as a new form of strategy, and I definitely think that if you are a savvy game player, I think you're going to be looking to do this in some of these next few seasons. So if they cast some savvy players, I think that's going to be something that we're going to be seeing as other things to be hidden. And is it true? Is it not? Could Survivor actually be hiding things now? I think there's going to be a lot of room to see what actually happens there.
Yeah, Mike.
I think we're gonna see. You called it the open era. I think I'm gonna call it the org era. I think that you're gonna see a lot of things that fans have already developed, and we those of us that have played these games online, I think we've already seen this, and so I think it's new to them in production, but I think it's going to be interesting to see how they incorporate some of the things that we've all seen already kind of happen in games that we've played online or in live games, and see them play out, because I think that's what we saw in 50 is we saw some things come into the game that were kind of outside influences. And I think that's what we're going to see in this open era is a lot more of them doing some research on what others have thought of or what others have seen or done. And I think we're going to start seeing that develop in the show, which is kind of cool, but also scary. It's I wouldn't want to some of these twists that these creators come up with is crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm gonna call it. Is the org era?
Yeah. All us orders, yes. All right. That's great. We got a 2.5 hour podcast on Survivor 50 in the hands of the fans. So if you made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, let us know your thoughts on the season. And yeah, with that, I thank you guys. Thank you to everyone who's been a part of this process. And we will probably do a 1 through 51, or we will do a season 51 review at the end of that. So
We're doing it all over again. Is that
Oh,
what I
God,
just?
no. Oh my God, no! I'm never doing this
Now we just
project
do
again.
like one season at a time.
I would literally cry myself. Just
You could do era recaps.
Oh yeah, I mean that might be interesting, but I think we're done with this project. But yeah, with that, we will see you all next time for more Survivor off-season coverage on the Tribe of Nerds.